Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the press conference of Pride 90。皆さん、本日はご対応中のところ、多数お集まりいただきまして誠にありがとうございます。プライドオフィシャルナビゲーターのケイ・グラントです。ただいまより、Pride 90公開記者会見を行います。試合を明後日に控えました出場16選手が入場します。どうか熱い拍手でお迎えください。第1試合、ティム・カタルフォー、トム・エリクソン。第2試合、アレックス・スティーブリン、バリッジ・イスマイル。第3試合、ポドリコ・グレイシー、松井大二郎。第4試合、カーロス・ニュートン、ペレ。第5試合、イゴール・ボブチャンチン、He's Healing。第6試合、ケン・シャムロック、トン・フライ。第7試合、遠征井上、アントニオ・ホドリゴ・ノゲイラ。第8試合、プライドミドル級タイトルマッチ、チャレンジャー田村清、チャンピオンバンダライ・シューバ。They'd like to take a picture now, with the fighting force, please. もう早くも火花が散っています。 カメラマンの皆さんもリクエストしてください。あ、that's right. They want to see you guys. Move a little bit, please, please. I understand. Okay.
Please come down.
Okay, guys. So I want you guys to come down and well, we'd like to have some comment, please. Okay, Cam, you go first. I want you to say something. Okay. So let's go. Okay.
I'll bet you have to hold him real hard. I'm tired of all this crap. I want 24th to come. I want the bell to ring so as I can go in there and do what I do best. And I'm a fighter. I do it. That's what I am. I'm a professional. This motherfucker over here is not a professional. He likes to bring people's families into it. And you know what? You're going to pay for that. All right? You should not kick a fucking sleeping dog. Do you understand what I'm saying? Come on the 24th. You better bring it all because I'm going to be in there to fucking die. Yo.
Fight fans, and welcome back to Pride Resurrection, the historical video series dedicated to the Pride Fighting Championships, where with each episode we'll take a look back at a specific event from Pride's history. And today, dear viewers, we're going to be taking a look back at Pride 19,
Bad Blood.
I am the most dangerous man alive today, joined by, he's back, the Colombian Good Vibe!
Wait, what do you mean he's back? I believe this is the second episode in a row. Boom, this is magical. This is back to the olden days, all right, people?
He's got some full flavor Budweiser.
Diesel.
I have a half a bottle, or maybe a little bit less, of a wine that's been in my fridge for about 8 months, maybe longer.
And by the way, listeners, he is not using a glass. He is going full out from the bottle.
Oh, it's not good. I don't like Pinot Grigio. But that's all I have.
Listeners, I really wish we had a camera, man. Like, just taking a pic, like recording every time he takes a drink.
Hopefully I'll get used to it. I haven't been drinking a whole lot lately.
Same here. No, I never drink at all now, any day anymore.
Japan is on the brink. A wave of horrendous crime has gripped the island nation as the two biggest Yakuza crime families are locked in a bitter rivalry, attempting to top the other in an escalating battle to prove which family is the baddest in the land. At first, their acts were only directed at the public, as the truce between the families had existed, but this deadly game of showmanship begins to turn out of control, and soon the two families turn their focus on each other, committing outrageous ritual killings and sacrifices, and the streets of Tokyo flow with the blood of the unwashed. Before the chaos can entirely destroy the two Yakuza families, the Oyabans, the Godfathers, come together and negotiate a way to end the bloodshed. An MMA fighting tournament where the baddest men from each family will fight against each other to finally settle this rivalry once and for all, and declare only one family to be the baddest in Japan. This is Pride 19, Bad Blood.
By the way, I just want to point out that I never know if what you're saying in those intros is like half-ass true, half-ass lies, and like because it always begins like slightly true, and then you just go ridiculous.
And you notice that we never get a conclusion, like what happened with the storyline. Held on February 24th, 2002 at the Saitama Super Arena in front of 22,000 fans, Pride 19, Bad Blood, features 8 bouts of the bloodiest of action. Will this be the best Pride we've ever seen? We'll have to wait to find out, but all our faves are back, including Igor Volchanchin, Heath Herring, Vanderlei Silva, Tom Erickson, Minotauro Nogueira, Don Fry, Ken Shamrock, Daijiro Matsui, Carlos Newton, Ensign Inoue, and more.
By the way, I know, and I'll probably bring this up later, but I just want to point out this was the one time where I realized, and I don't know, maybe my terrible memory, Minotauro is Portuguese for Minotaur.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
and
Minotaur.
yeah, I never. Every time you say his name, it never caught on. I thought that was his actual fucking name.
That's like his nickname.
But that's his nickname, and I know they explained it, but I was just baffled by. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not his name.
And we do get a major new face joining the fray of Pride, and that is Kiyoshi Tamura, Ring's veteran. Before we get into our event, though, what else was happening in the MMA world around this time? A month after Pride, Bad Blood, on March 22nd. UFC held their UFC 36 event, Worlds Collide, which saw a stacked card featuring Sean Shirk, Matt Serra, Frank Mir, Petey My Heart Williams, Evan Tanner, Matt Lindland, Pat Miletich, and more. In the marquee bouts of the event, Matt Hughes defended his welterweight title against future Pride star Hayato Sakurai, whom we'll first see in the Bushido series sometime down the road.
By the way, listeners, I want you in the comments. Let me know. When was the last time you heard the song Power Man, Worlds Collide? Because that's all that came into my head. Into my head.
I'm gonna have to play a short little snippet.
Yeah. I mean, when you said Worlds Collide, that's all that came into my head. I'm like, it's been a while since I heard that song.
Matt defeated Sakurai via TKO in the 4th round. Next, after that, Pedro Hizo beat Andrei Arlovsky in the 3rd round via KO. And the main event saw Randy Couture defend his heavyweight title against future Pride star Josh Barnett. Barnett, at only 24 years old, toppled Couture via TKO in the 2nd round, thus becoming the new UFC heavyweight champion. A title reign that would be short-lived, though, as a drug test prior to the bout showed Barnett pissed hot. And he was accused of using performance-enhancing drugs. He would be
so it wasn't hemorrhoids or something like that.
Right.
When you say piss hot,
yeah.
It wasn't burning. It was.
Right.
It was okay. All right, I get it.
Yeah, he didn't have syphilis or something like that. He would be stripped of the title, and Barnett quickly headed over to Japan, where the drug testing is a little less stringent, to say the least. We'll see Barnett debut for Pride at Pride 28. With all that out of the way, let's get into it. Pride 19, Bad Blood.
Hi everybody, and welcome to Japan. We're coming to you live via satellite for the first time ever in the history of the Pride Fighting Championships. I'm Stephen Quadros. I am the Fight Professor, alongside my broadcast partner, Bas Rutten. Bas, this Pride card is called Bad Blood. And the reason why is because we've got King Shamrock versus Don Frye in our main event. And boy, these guys really don't like each other. Bas, what are you doing? We're shooting the opening of the show. This, my friend, is what they call a katana. It's a Japanese sword used by the samurai. Here, hold this for a second. I know what it is, Bas. What? See that? Boss, get rid of it. What are you doing? What is the sword for? I'm trying to prove a point, Steven. You see, way back then, in the samurai era, two fighters, warriors, would fight each other to the death with those puppies. Now, obviously, we don't use swords in the Pride Fighting Championship, and we certainly do not fight to the death. But the emotions are pretty much the same. Also, the samurai were known for their honor, and that is something that we're going to see tonight. Two great fighters, warriors, you may call them, Ken Shamrock and Don Frye, going at it for their honor. Anyway, this is going to be one of the greatest Pride cards ever. Not only do we have Ken Shamrock versus Don Frye, but we've got a card that is loaded with great fights, including Khalid Ismail versus Alex Stiefling, Carlos Newton versus Jose Pele Landi, Heath Herring versus Igor Volchanchin, Antonio Rodrigo Minotauro Nogueira versus Enson Inoue, and defending his middleweight title, Vanderlei Silva versus Kiyoshi Tamura, and the main event that you have been waiting for, Ken Shamrock facing his nemesis, Don Frye, in our main event. That's it, Bas, that's our card. Let's go down to the arena. Steven, one little favor. Could you put this apple on your head? Oh, no way. I'm going to try to chop it in half. This was not in my contract. God, no. I mean, I trust you, but... Wow, good shot, boss. I will always trust you.
I told you. I told you so.
It tastes good.
Really good.
And welcome to the Pride Fighting Championships Bad Blood. We're ringside. I'm Stephen Quadros with Boss Rutan. Boss, that apple tastes good, and that sword was very sharp.
I know. I cleaned my nails a little bit of it. Look. Everything is good again. And yes, Stephen, you're right. You can always trust me. I have your back as you have mine.
Yes, we do. And you know, inside the ring, they won't be using swords. They will be using fists, knees, kicks, grappling, submissions, everything. We've got it all tonight. We've got some spectacular matchups, of which the main event, we just saw the press conference. Fry and Shamrock are definitely focused for this fight. Really going to try and terminate each other.
Oh my God, these guys. You saw them walking around in the hotel already. Bad blood. I'm talking about bad blood. I've never seen something like this before, so this is going to be spectacular for sure.
Now this is a battle of two wrestlers. We've got Tom Erickson versus Tim Obaki Catalfo, a big guy versus an even bigger guy.
Yeah, Tim Catalfo comes in at 235 pounds, while Tom Erickson is 285 pounds. This time we're going to see if size does matter.
Because both these guys, for wrestlers, can really punch, but we're going to see if this fight will go the distance. I'm predicting it won't.
I don't think so either. I think this is going to be a first-round knockout. Well, Tom, first of all, what do you think about doing interviews?
Oh, I like doing interviews, especially with a guy like you. Great personality, they go great.
Thank you very much. So that brings me to the next question. Listen to this. Big Cat, where does it come from? I mean...
Oh, I don't know. We were heck, before my first show in Mars, back in '97, we were sitting in a restaurant thinking, boy, you got to have a nickname when you fight and everything else. And we were trying to figure out a name. It's like, well, you move pretty well for a big guy, so you move like a cat. Well, let's call you Big Cat. I'm like, oh, I don't care, whatever. So after that, it stuck, and it's where it's been the whole time.
So why wasn't the Big Panther? Because it's a bigger cat?
I don't know. You know, maybe a skin color. I don't know. I'm one of those white Persian cats, I guess. I don't know.
I think it's a great stand-up. You know, he brings the boxing, and you're bringing the wrestling in. Now, Tim Catalfo is going to come out and throwing bombs. You ready for it? He says he's going to take you down, probably. Are you ready for that, too?
Oh, that'd be exciting. The thing about fighting Catalfo, you know, I have respect for his wrestling. I knew Tim and his brother back when they used to compete. Yeah, it's going to be a great fight. I'm looking forward to it. You got a guy that's got some wrestling background. He likes to throw some bombs. You know what? I'll go up there. We'll stand up. We'll wrestle. Whatever he wants to do, we're going to do, because I have a feeling that he's going to want to force the action. It's going to be a great fight to open up this card.
Our show opens 2 days prior at a special press conference held in the hours before Pride the Best Volume 1 at the Karakuen Hall in Tokyo. We get to see some of the interviews and bout previews, along with Ken Shamrock being a spaz.
And didn't we get to see these with the best, like some of these interviews?
Yeah. We saw that at the end of the best.
Yeah, so why the hell are we showing them again?
Yeah,
I don't fucking get this shit. And by the way, we should inform our listeners that this is the first Pride event that was played live with no time delay. And trust me, listeners, you would know this because Quadros and Boss bring it up every other minute.
and there's a couple spots where the camera is pointed right at them, and you can see them commentating, their lips moving, and it's matching up. So
yeah,
we know for sure.
No more studio recordings, unfortunately.
Yes. After our little press conference, Boss and Quadros are in a room with some interesting lighting, to say the least.
But, by the way, I just want to point out that lighting. You know how perfect it is that A, the event is Bad Blood, and B, that lighting, and the fact that we're recording in October.
Yeah.
That's just,
it's like
that's fucking perfect.
Yes. They state that they are live via satellite for the first time. That must mean this is the first truly live broadcast internationally of a Pride event, and the previous Prides on international pay-per-view were all tape delay. Quadros is talking to Boss, who whips out a samurai sword, then starts to do some tricks with sound effects. This is like the Boss of old. Remember when?
I mean, think about it this way: he's live now, right? So he's probably drank the same amount he would when he was back in the studio.
Yes, a lot of sake.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't trust Boss with a fucking sword near me.
Boss explains how Bad Blood was handled back in the samurai days with murder. Quadros then covers the card and the matchups, and then we are transported live to the arena. And
before we transport, I just want to point out something that made me really sad. It's because for the last few events, the cameraman has steadied his grip more and more. You used to be just like fucking like if it was an earthquake shaking all over to be extreme, and now you barely get a rotation at all. You can barely sense it.
Well, you should see the interview extras that they have on Bad Blood, where the cameraman gets like really close. You know, it is especially on Valid Ismail, right into his fucking eyes. Quadros covers the matchups and we're transported live to the arena, and Quadros must have forgotten to wash the shampoo out of his hair as it's looking very flat.
No, isn't it supposed to be a joke? Like, because it ends with Boss cutting an apple on top of him. And then you look at his hair and it's split down the middle.
Maybe, yeah.
See, that's what I saw. I was like,
okay. I missed that. I just looked like, it was like, what the fuck is going on with Quadros' hair? He's very dedicated to the bit then.
Yes.
He's doing a bit. Quadros states inside the ring they won't be using swords, but fists, knees, kicks, grappling, and submissions. Boss hypes up the bad blood. It's the bad blood.
Bad blood.
Between. That's what he says. Fry and Shamrock. And sorry, fight fans, we don't get a parade of fighters for this one, except for the little mini parade of fighters that I showed at the beginning here. And we go straight into a pre-fight discussion for the first fight, which sees a return of Illinois Pigfucker. Sorry. Noble Tom Erickson taking on newcomer to Pride, Tim Catalfo.
Oh man, you know what? Let's do something. Pigfuckers from Illinois, man. We're from Illinois. Yeah. I'm gonna take over.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna do the play-by-play now. Okay. So here's how this is gonna work. I'm gonna let the most dangerous man alive today read the info, the intro. Then he'll let me know so I can bring you the fight in all its glory.
Tom Erickson was 37 years old for this, and his MMA record at the time was 8-1-1. Catalfo from the USA was 43 years old, and his MMA record was 3-1. We last saw Big Tom Erickson at Pride 17, where he domestic violence choked Tom Skelton out in the first round. That was the last time he fought. Now he's welcoming in a rival to his Grizzly Bear Pinup Championship. But just who is this Tim Catalfo fellow anyway? A former amateur-turned-professional wrestler, Catalfo wrestled for both WCW and New Japan Pro Wrestling in the late 80s and early 90s, though I am unable to find any video proof of this. He was a somewhat accomplished amateur wrestler, having placed fourth at the 1980 All-American Freestyle Tournament and first at the Greco-Roman Games in 1987. After MMA began to take off, Tim threw his mustache into the ring and made his pro MMA debut at International Sport Combat Federation Submission Fighting Open 1 on September 6, 1997. There, he fought Joe Pardo and beating him with a neck crank after 13 minutes. Next up for Catalfo was Alexandre Ferreira at IVC4 in February of 1998. Catalfo had the better of Alexandre for the majority of the match, frustrating Ferreira so much that he resorted to eye gouging. Ferreira was thusly DQ'd, and Catalfo had another victory under his belt. After that came Dave Benetow at King of the Cage 9, Showtime, on June 9th of 2001. 25 seconds into the first round was all it took for Catalfo to choke out old Dave, and Catalfo had some choice words immediately after for Don Fry, who was in Benetow's corner.
Unbelievable, Tim Catalfo.
Look at this.
No,
What's that all about?
There's Don Fry in the ring.
I'm not sure what that was all about.
I don't know, but fans love it. Obviously, they're not going to have beers after the fight.
Don would later say he wanted to fight Catalfo at the next King of the Cage, but that fight never came to be. The next fight for Catalfo would be, in fact, against Bobby Hoffman at King of the Cage 11, Domination, in September of 2001. Bobby would deal Catalfo his first loss after he was forced to cry uncle due to strikes at 3 minutes and 56 seconds of the first round. And that brings us here to Pride.
Bad blood.
Pre-fight, Boss interviews Tom Erickson from inside a Grateful Dead concert. Boss asks him... Boz asks him where the Big Cat name comes from. Tom explains. Boz wonders why not Big Panther or Pig Fucker. We don't get to hear from Catalfo.
All right, listeners, I want you to let us know if there's a video out there of a panther fucking a pig. That would be interesting to watch. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Someone draw it up. We don't get to hear from Catalfo, nor do we get walkouts to the ring. Both men are already there, and we get our first look at this motherfucker named Catalfo. Holy Mother Mary, this guy might just unseat Tom Erickson for Grizzly Bear Magazine Pinup of the Year.
Oh, wait. See, at this point, I saw this fighter. And listeners, I'm going to tell you this. Disregard everything the Most Dangerous Man today told you for his intro. Tim's real identity is Old Man Wolverine.
Oh, yeah. It could be. He is, like, short enough, too.
Short enough, has the mutton chops. If you look at his hair, he even has, like, the edges of it, like, standing up, like original Wolverine in the cartoony show, man.
Yeah. He needs to... did he have sideburns?
Yeah. Fucking mutton chops like a motherfucker.
Okay. Yeah. I just remember his fucking mustache.
Oh, that fucking, like, handlebar?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I also see Gary Goodridge in Erickson's corner. Quadro says that Tom claims to have 1,000 wrestling matches with about a 70% win ratio. Okay, at least he didn't give him. If he's gonna make up bullshit, at least he's gonna say, "Yeah, I got 1,000 wrestling matches, 99% win ratio."
I mean, it's better than the armbar contest.
And wow, look at the size difference between the two men during the stare down. No spoilers, but Catalfo might be murdered. And look at that, Minoru Toyonaga is our ref. He fought once in Pride against Egan Inoue. Do you remember?
Nope.
Well, it's time for the good vibe.
All right.
Take over.
See, there we go. By the way, I do want to point out, listeners, that size difference has to be brutal. I don't, like you guys know,
yes.
I don't freaking watch that many fights, but just looking at this, why would you sign up for that? Hell if I know.
Yes, it's got to be at least a foot or
also,
more.
I don't know if it's just me that finds it humorous that the fight is Tim versus Tom. That's just stupid, but that's just me. So let's get into it. We got the fight starting. We got Tim rushing in for a takedown, which to me is the stupidest move you can do when you're giving that much of a size disadvantage. Tom easily stops the takedown and counters with a few blows. Erickson clearly lifts Tim off the mat, just like if it was straddling a baby. It took him no effort whatsoever and drops him down. Erickson with a side guard lands a few punches, but nothing more. Tim wrapping his legs around Tom doesn't let him get into a better position. Tom able to get into half guard and tries for a neck choke with his weight behind it. Tim almost giving up his guard, and now he does. What a surprise. Tom with a face crack and moves into a chokehold. Couldn't actually connect it. It was weird because it looked kind of, but when the camera zoomed in, it was like covering his nose. That was it. Tom tries again another chokehold, but Tim tries to grab his leg. They are going on a neck-to-neck. Which one will get the other one to tap out first? And what is this? Tim! Tim is a loser.
He's got him again, going for it, but
Catalfo's holding his foot. He's going for a leg submission right there.
he is. He's going for a footlock on top. Oh, he's got the choke! Tom Erickson says, well, was it a choke? It was a choke, but it was.
He taps out first from that chokehold from Tom Erickson.
Yes.
A good fight overall. I mean, a quick fight. They were both brutal. I mean, it was surprising because, Tim was doing such a great job at defending while being down, and then all of a sudden decides, no, you know what? I'm going to give you rear guard completely.
I never thought this would be a competitive fight. Catalfo isn't a bad fighter, but he's a bit past his prime as he started fighting very late, well into his 30s if I remember correctly. Tom is a huge fucking dude, a lot of durability, hard to handle. Catalfo was trying for that foot submission at the end, but he totally gave up defending the choke because of it. Gutsy but stupid move. This was a good opener. I give it a 6 out of 10. So what would become of our two bad beefcake brothers here? We'll only get to see Mr. Grizzly Bearer of the Century once more at Pride 29 in February of 2005, a 3-year layoff for Mr. Erickson. There he takes on Fabricio Verdum. As for Catalfo, this would be it for his Pride career. He would only fight once more in MMA nearly a full year later in February of 2003 at World Extreme Fighting Championships 2 in Jacksonville, Florida. There he beat James Daniels with his old trusty neck crank a little over 1 minute into the first round. No video, couldn't find it. Funny enough, in 2005, Tim would apparently steal a party bus. Yes.
That's my kind of man.
Here's the story. On January 1st, 2005, at approximately 1:50 a.m., a bus owned by Duna's Limousine was parked at Wachovia Bank while awaiting passengers to board after a New Year's Eve celebration in Jacksonville Beach. Well, the driver was outside and at the rear of the bus. The vehicle was stolen by an occupant later identified as Timothy Lance Catalfo.
I mean, if you're going to steal a vehicle, a party bus definitely should be the way to go.
Yes.
This is like a GTA level amazing.
Yes. The bus containing 5 passengers traveled out of the parking lot, then onto North 3rd Street, where the bus struck a parked vehicle and continued north for 3 additional blocks. After stopping the bus, Tim Catalfo and his male companion fled the area on foot. The 5 passengers remaining on the bus claimed they were scared and yelling at the suspect and companion to stop the bus. The passengers claimed they only laughed as the passengers were thrown from side to side within the bus as the defendants weaved from one lane to another, striking a parked car, a medium, and a curb, causing $1,500 in damage.
Oh, that's not bad for striking 3 different things.
Yes. One of the passengers had taken a photo of the suspect and his companion just prior to the theft because they had claimed to be Ultimate Fighting champions.
Oh my God.
The suspect was later identified as Tim Catalfo. While attempting to contact Tim Catalfo, this is from the reporter, I made contact with his son, who also identified the suspect in the photo as his father. Good, rat out your dad.
No shit.
Like,
what?
Is this your dad stealing the bus?
Sellout.
That is. And that's all I can say about Tim Catalfo. We'll see you around, buddy.
All right, this and if you want to, you can put this part in the story. But you just said that, and it reminded me of a hilarious story. Back when I went to college, I was at a friend's apartment, and we were all drinking, right? We were just hanging out. All of a sudden, we just hear a ridiculously loud thud. And we were like, what the fuck just happened, man? So we walk outside, and there's a party bus parked right there. Behind the party bus, this car rammed into it, and the front part was like under the bus. The girl that was driving gets out of the car, is fine, looks around, and is like, do you think I'm gonna get a ticket? I was like, Jesus Christ.
Have you been drinking? You might get arrested.
You're drunk enough you didn't see a fucking party bus, and you're wondering if you're gonna get a ticket. Motherfucker.
People are stupid.
No shit.
Waleed, what is your nickname and why do you have it?
You know my nickname, everybody knows. The greatest Terminator. Just this. Not big problem.
That wild-eyed, trash-talking wonder from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, Waleed Ismail, is back, and he's going to fight a guy, boss, that you know quite well, Alex Stiebling.
Yeah, you know, Alex Stiebling came to train with me for 2.5 weeks. After that, he took up to Salt Lake City to train high altitude, and I can tell you one thing, he improved tremendously in boxing.
What is your game plan?
Like always, I don't have a game plan when I come out here. You know, I come out here to throw down. I want to come out here and bang. I want to come out here and throw punches. I want to throw knees. I want to, I want to make it hurt. You know, I want to make it hurt every time I come out here. If he wants to go to the ground, that's fine. I can go to the ground. I can do anything. I mean, I think we've all, everybody's seen that I can do that. But I definitely want to stand up. I definitely want to punch. I want to make it. I want to make it difficult for everybody.
Wanderlei Silva. You've met him before, right?
Yeah, and he wasn't. He didn't like me too much. He wasn't too friendly. He wanted to start a fight with me in the airport, and I don't know what that was about. I was just trying to get some orange juice, but the guy didn't like me too much. So I guess man, he's mad because I'm cuter. I'm prettier than he is, or what? I don't know what his problem is. But he wasn't too happy with me. Oh well, Yeah, I'm sure we'll have our day in the ring together. So we'll see what happens then.
He's a wrestler that's really worked on his stand-up, and that could be the key against Waleed Ismail. Expect fireworks in this one.
Okay, I just have one name that I would like to mention to you, and you can say whatever you want when I mention it. Ryan Gracie.
He's a chicken. You know, everybody know I beat him 1 minute and a half. No, I don't want to talk about this chicken. You see, this guy is weak. I told you to everybody. Everybody, remember the last time I come here? I said, hey, this guy is nothing. He's a weak. You know everything I say. What?
The second fight of the evening sees the exciting return of Waleed Ismail taking on returning Alex Stiebling. Or is it Stiebling? I think it's...
by the writing, I would Stiebling.
I know, but it's Stiebling. It is. Taking on a returning Alex Stiebling.
His white whale.
Waleed was 34 years old and his MMA record was 7-2. As for Alex, he was 25 years old and his MMA record was 11-1 and 1 no contest. Go play the lottery.
1 billion. 1 billion people. Why are you not playing the lottery?
1.6 billion. Go play the Power or the Mega Millions.
Yeah.
You have a 1 in 55 million chance in winning or something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, think about it. The fact that if you win this, Jesus, you'll have more money than the sitting president.
I know. That'd be awesome. Brazilians must really hate Alex Stiebling. That or Pride is riding his Brazilian Killa nickname all the way to the bank with this matchup. Pre-fight, we get a short interview with Waleed Ismail. What the fuck does he say?
You know my nickname, everybody knows. The greatest Terminator. Just this. Not big problem.
Boss says he trained with Alex Stiebling for 2 weeks, and we get an interview with Alex, who seems like a good kid. Quadros asks him about Vanderlei Silva, who I guess hates him.
Here's the question, though. We've been doing this Pride thing for how long? Almost 2 years now, you would say?
It's been over there. Almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years.
3 years
Jesus
in
Christ.
December.
All right. Yeah, I was married back then. Holy shit. Anyway, so we've been doing it for a while. Is there a single fighter that Silva does not
He seems to hate
dislike?
everybody.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly, man. He fucking hates everybody. Like, random fucking fighter walks out the street, Vanderlei Silva will be like, I fucking hate you.
Right. Then we get a little bit more of crackpot Waleed going off on Ryan Gracie. Sans walkouts once again. Damn it. Alex is hopping around like he's hopped up on drugs, and he has red hair in the front.
Yeah, no, by the way, I was distracted, and I almost thought this was a different fight. Because as you're getting before the interviews, you get the 2 pictures of the fighters, right? Mm-hmm. And Alex, completely bleached hair, widow's peak up to like the back of his head, all this shit. Yeah. Shows up, fucking red hair. Yeah. Like the first, like and the best part is it's not the full hair. Right. It's like just the front half. And it's like, is this the same fucker?
Waleed looks fucking scary right here. That's just what I wrote. Waleed looks fucking scary. Geezer tidbit, Waleed might be incredibly hungover as just 1 day prior he celebrated his birthday. Waleed was born on February 23rd, 1968. At the stare down, Alex has at least 5 inches on Waleed, maybe more. Good vibe. Any comments or thoughts before we jump into this one?
Well, it's not before we jump into it, but I forgot to write the time, so I'm gonna probably miss it. So I want to bring this up during the fight. Boss and Quadros are talking about Alex's training because Boss said that he trained with him.
Yeah,
I love it. That one of the most important parts of the training is that they stop going to strip clubs.
They stayed away from the strip clubs for at least 5 weeks in training for this fight.
Yeah, that's right, because we didn't go to any strip club.
Yeah.
Yes.
like how severe of a training? Right. It literally has to be written there on your training plan. Yes. Don't go to strip clubs.
I don't think I caught that one. So
it was amazing. It's like like Boss is like talking about the training, blah blah blah. And it's like, oh yeah, we even stopped going to strip clubs for weeks. It's like, what? Like that's part of your training.
I'm gonna have to find it when where it's at, and I'll put it in. It's time for the fight, round 1. Waleed sneaks in for a takedown as Alex with a stilted punch. Alex sprawls. Waleed has nothing here, but he keeps pushing Alex into the ropes. Waleed has a single. Alex grabs the ropes. The men are standing. Alex with a nice switch as he holds the body. Waleed spending a lot of energy still trying for the takedown. Alex checks his oil with a finger right up the ass. And then, just like that, Waleed has completed the takedown. Waleed tries to work ground and pound. The ref comes in to move the fighters out of the corner ropes. The fight is restarted in the corner. Both men work punches, but neither really doing a whole lot of damage. This goes on for a minute or two, with intermittent calls for action from the ref. I will say that both men stay active enough, but not a whole lot happens.
I mean, That's the thing is, I disagree with you there. Both men are not. Like, right now, Ishmael is like being the active person. Alex is just defending. And I find it funny because, like, once again, Boss mentions that Alex Ishmael plans a lot for his fights and stuff like that. Alex does not. So he's like, oh, Alex coming with no plan. I'm seeing Alex just doing absolutely nothing. I'm like, yeah, I can tell he's coming in with no plan.
The men work their way back towards the ropes ever so slowly. Valid goes to half guard, getting into a very long style side control, 5 minutes down in round 1. Valid is back into full guard immediately after, and then they are in the ropes in corner. Valid postures up to deliver punishment. This has been a sustained 4 minutes of groundwork from Valid, and I'm not sure what he's accomplished here. Another posture up barrage from Valid, mostly missing. 3 minutes now remain in round 1, and we're still here. Valid has slowed down, and Steibling rakes him with slow punches. Valid gets stuck in Alex's knees, and Alex pops him with some good hammer fists. 1 minute left now in round 1, and Valid is in half guard. He tries to get free to side control. Alex briefly regains full guard and then turns to the side, allowing Valid to get into side control. But then Alex sits up, scrambles, and he manages to spin around to Valid's back. Wow. Just as Alex gets his hooks in, though, the bell rings, ending round 1. Boss says that Alex is breathing heavy, and he did the same during their training sessions, but that he recovers very quickly. Alex then gets up and is raring to go. Any thoughts?
Well, so it's one of those funny moments where I'm watching this fight, right? And I'm watching just majority of this round, Ishmael being, on the offensive, right? And as soon as I write it down, I'm like, Alex is being way too defensive. Literally, as I'm done typing it, motherfucker gets back guard. That's like, what? Like, he just wanted to prove me wrong, man.
Let's do it. Round 2. Alex comes forward. Valid decides to stay on the inside. Valid goes for a swinging right, and Alex kicks. But as he does, Valid shoots for the leg, but misses. He goes to stand, but eats a knee and a punch. Steibling throws a short 1-2, then clinch. Knees. Valid drives for the legs. They scramble, and Valid secures a takedown. But Alex is deep in Valid's asshole, and the position is split, with neither man really having dominance here. Quadros reiterates that this is the first time ever that Pride is coming to you live via satellite.
And this is the first time ever, Pride Fighting Championships Bad Blood, that we are coming to you live via satellite.
He mentions that there was a time delay.
That newfangled satellite technology. It never existed before. Not on radios or anything else.
No. With Valid's right arm trapped under him, Alex hooks the left arm and twists it behind Valid, who is pulled over in a very strange position. Boss exclaims he has never seen this before.
Look at this. What is she going to do now? Oh my God, I've never seen this before.
Alex then tries torquing it around the back of his head, then loses it, and the men are standing, or trying to stand, as Alex pulls Valid on top of him. Advanced pretzel configuration, says Quadros. Boss has never seen this before, not even in pro wrestling.
Now they're getting into advanced pretzel configuration.
There you go.
Wow, this is a situation I've never seen this like this.
It's the advanced pretzel move.
I've never seen this before in my life. There's even pro wrestling cannot come up with situations like this, I think.
Okay.
I mean, it definitely looks more like, in pro wrestling when they go for like the weird pins.
Yeah.
That's
right.
Exactly more what it looks like than any sort of submission.
Yeah, like some of the extreme lucha reversals that they usually do where they have the crazy fucking pins.
Yeah.
Valid is bleeding out of nowhere. He must have bladed like in pro wrestling. Valid transitions into Steibling's guard. Quadros notes that Japanese audiences have given Alex the nickname of the Fighting Brad Pitt.
Alex Steibling was called the Parrot when he fought in, obviously, Venezuela because he had blue hair. He's got flaming red hair and blonde in the back. When he came in to the Pride Fighting Championships number 18.
All right. 2 minutes left.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, I missed that one. Jesus, I would have had like an entire paragraph about this shit.
Japanese audience has given Alex the nickname of the Fighting Brad Pitt. I don't know if I believe it. I asked Quadros on Twitter. He said yes, they did.
Holy shit.
2 minutes left now in round 2, and we're still in the same position, very similar to the majority of round 1. Valid and Stiebling trade from the guard position. Quadros starts to shit on the fight, saying it's falling into a pattern, and one of the guys needs to make a move. Valid makes his way into a stretched out side control. Alex spins out from under him and shoos Valid right in the face, not once, but twice. Valid just eats them and falls back into guard. Alex punches him a dozen times, 1 minute left. Valid isn't doing much in response. Alex pushes Valid away, then scrambles to his feet with Valid following him, grabbing a leg. Alex tries to punch him, sprawls, knees come, then more. Valid bulldozes forward to the ropes, then the bell rings, ending round 2. Valid showing signs of Alex's striking, and he looks gassed out.
I mean, it's like quite a change. Seeing the first round, Ishmael dominating, and then now he's getting dominated.
Yeah, I don't think he has a good gas tank. That seems to be one of his faults here.
Too much muscle.
Yes.
But, I mean, if you look at his build, that's one of those.
He needs to be lean.
Yeah, that's one of those things where you can tell that's too much muscle.
Yeah, and you look at Alex, and he's lanky and lean, and you could see boss says he has a good recovery gas tank, and I can see why. A little bit of Pride history is made here at Bad Blood in between the rounds. For the first time, the first round of Pride, that's the 10-minute round, is called the Endurance Round by Quadros, and that would be its moniker from here on out.
All fights are contested under the 3-round system. First round is the endurance round of 10 minutes.
Let's finish this up. Time for round 3. The bell rings. Valid barely moves out of his corner, but Alex comes in for him. Nice combo by Alex, and Valid just limply throws his whole arm as a punch. Alex clinches and cracks him good with 3 knees. Valid is in trouble as Alex pours it on with punches now. Valid shoots for the legs. Alex sprawls and knees his head.
But I mean, honestly, you can tell Ishmael's just dead in the water. Nothing, when he tries to strike, no power behind it. This attempt got sprawled so fucking easily.
Alex is over Valid's back, knees. Valid tries to lift Alex over him, but the ropes mostly blocks it. They are all contorted again, then back with Alex over Valid's back. Valid is just covering up as Alex works elbows to the body. Valid looks burnt out, and he still foolishly expends energy here for no reason. The ref moves the fighters to the center of the ring. Should have stood him up. Valid lifts Alex, gets a soft rise from the crowd. They roll to the ropes. Alex then nearly takes Valid's back. On their side, then Alex gets on top in half guard, gets in the mount, hammers on Valid, moves to the back. Valid is cooked just laying here, but he manages to get in guard after Alex slips off his back. More of the same as before. Valid in guard. Alex punches him. 1 minute left in round 3 now. Alex pushes Valid away with up kicks. Valid hilariously tries to wind up for a punch, gets kicked, but is committed to this wind up as he just continues with it, falling on top of Alex. He's back in guard now. Alex looks cooked now too, and he winces and slows down greatly. Another upkick moment as Alex tries to boot Valid's head, then the bell rings, ending our fight. I think we know how this one will go, but let's head over to the judges nonetheless to find out our result, which
Takeda
is...
loses.
Alex Stiebling has pulled out a unanimous decision.
Alex Stiebling, winner via unanimous decision after 3 rounds. Valid is going to need a nap. Carlson Gracie in his corner looks pissed. Alex gets his trophy, and then we're off to the next fight. But first, Good Vibe, your overall thoughts on Stiebling versus Valid?
I mean, it was a good fight. I'm not gonna lie. It was kind of active. I mean, like I said, the complete and utter dominance switch is just so noticeable. Like, I did for not even a second did I hesitate to know. When Alex won, it's like, no, he definitely fucking won. There's no way it was anything else other than that.
This was a good fight. I'm sad there wasn't a finish, but I liked it. Valid blew his wad. Alex looked good, and man, if he gets the right team together, he could be a real contender. This was a solid 7 out of 10 fight. So what would become of our 2 bad buttfuckers here? That's funny.
What is a bad butt fucker?
I don't know.
Is it someone that keeps missing the hole?
Yeah.
Or is it someone that only goes for the hole?
I just think
He's a badass motherfucker kind of thing.
just think a buttfucker. It's a funny word.
Oh no, buttfuckers are hilarious word, mind you. But that's my question: is what is a bad buttfucker?
Let's move on. Alex Stiebling.
The world wants to know what is a bad buttfucker.
Alex Stiebling will be fed another Brazilian at his very next Pride appearance, Pride 21, in June of 2002, his next immediate MMA bout. There, he will try and prove his Brazilian killer nickname by taking on future GOAT Anderson Silva, who will be making his Pride debut. As for fugly but lovable Valid Ismail, this would do it for his Pride career. He would only fight twice more and would retire at the end of 2002 with a record of 9-3. His last 2 fights were both in Japan. First against Kazunari Murakami. Remember this dipshit from Pride 1? That fight went down at UFO Legend on August 8th of 2002. Valid would TKO Murakami in the second round. Valid's final fight came at the Inoki Bumbaye 2002 event in December of 2002. Yoshihiro Nemikawa was his opponent, and Valid would eke out a 3-round decision, thus putting a cherry on top of his career. After he ended his fighting career, Valid would become a highly regarded trainer in his native Brazil and also create the Jungle Fight Championship MMA organization, which held its first event in September of 2003. Jungle Fight would put on 92 events up until November of 2016. And that's all I can say about Valid. We'll see you around, buddy.
All right, listeners, I have another favor here because I want to make sure you guys are paying attention. All right, since Alex is the fighting Brad Pitt, what is Ishmael? The fighting what? Danny DeVito? Comment. Let us know. What do you think? What is he?
Yeah,
the fighting
if Alex is the fighting Brad Pitt, what would Valid be the equivalent to?
松井大二郎 VS ロドリゴ・グレイシー。
ただいまより本日の第3試合を行います。And now the third match. 青コーナーよりロドリゴ・グレイシー選手の入場です。
Okay, he's from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Rodrigo Gracie, or you could call him Rodrigo Gracie. The 26-year-old is the former 1998 Abu Dhabi Combat Club submission wrestling champion at 87 kilograms.
He's jumping around. He's doing some karate moves, it almost looks like. Actually, kung fu moves. Yeah, traditional karate, let's say that.
He is from the Gracie family, one of the most famous families in the martial arts. Okay, and his opponent is a man that you and I know very well. He's been in Pride 12 times. This is his 12th time. Daijiro Matsui from Takada Dojo, one of the wildest, most action-packed, never-say-die type fighters.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Energizer Bunny, big time right there. Way up there with Akira Soju. And 12 times, Stephen. Just to say it, this is the 12th time we are working together here at the Pride Fighting Championships live.
Yes, we are live via satellite. Daijiro Matsui, in my opinion, boss, has been the second half on 2 of the greatest grappling-oriented mixed martial art fights ever.
Yes.
One of them was against Jose Pele Landi, which he beat the Brazilian Vale Tudo legend, and the other one was a losing effort against Carlos Newton. That was a tremendous display.
The third fight of our event is a fight not included in the DVD rip I gave to Good Vibe.
Oh, thanks, asshole.
Instead, it was included on a special Ringside Extras DVD, which was a part of the special edition DVD release of this event. And that sees the return of Daijiro Matsui taking on newcomer to Pride, Rodrigo Gracie. Matsui was 29 years old with a record of 4-8-2. Rodrigo, meanwhile, he's from Brazil. And
okay, so why did they cut it off from the card, like the normal DVD?
I have no idea. Maybe they needed space and they figured, fuck, who gives a shit about Matsui?
All right, I give him that. I mean, I gotta agree 100% with that fucking statement.
Rodrigo, meanwhile, from Brazil, was 26 years old, and his MMA record was 1-0. Funny story, fight fans, my plan was to live stream the Bad Blood DVD extras and show this fight on that stream and direct you, interested viewer, to go watch the archive of the live stream to see this fight. And I did the live stream with the extras as planned, but as soon as this fight started playing, UFC came along and killed the stream. They shut the stream down, literally, and now our channel can't live stream for 3 months.
Wah, wah, wah. I saw your Twitter post about that. I was wondering what the hell you had done.
Whoops! So you can still go watch the DVD extras up until the fight starts, because I said, there was a lot of funny stuff that happened on that.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't have the fight. Just go check it out. So as for this fight, I'm going to have to do it here. Can you say action recap?
Action recap!
We last saw Matsui get his man bits pulverized by Rampage Jackson at Pride 18. After spending 17 days in the hospital, they finally found his balls, and he's come back now to show he's still a man. And he welcomes in a newcomer to Pride, and Gracie family member at that. But just who is this Rodrigo Gracie fellow anyway? And by the way, Matsui wasn't in the hospital. I don't know why I wrote that down. It's so fucking stupid.
You wanted him to be in the hospital.
Yeah, at least I'm pretty sure he wasn't in a hospital. Maybe I did read something there, but I'm pretty sure it's a joke. Trying to understand the Gracie family lineage is like trying to understand the Mayan calendar. He's the son of Hailson Gracie and cousin to Henzo Hoyson Hickson. He started training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at age 4 and was awarded the coveted Gracie black belt at age 18. In 1998, he won gold at the Abu Dhabi Combat Club Submission Wrestling World Championships. I purposely wrote out the entire name just to punish myself. Abu Dhabi Combat Club Submission Wrestling World Championships.
Abu Dhabi. That's such a fun word.
Yes.
Fuck it. I would write it every time. Abu Dhabi.
He would also win silver at the 2001 event. He only had one MMA fight prior to this, and it happened at Vengeance at the Vanderbilt 10.
What the fuck is the Vanderbilt?
You have no idea. Vengeance at the Vanderbilt 10, and this is number 10.
Jesus.
Of the Vengeance at the Vanderbilt.
There's a lot of vengeance to be had. Listeners, here's the deal. If by 9 times you haven't gotten your vengeance, it's not going to happen.
Right.
It's not.
It was held on November 10th, 2000, where he fought Kyle DiMello. Rodrigo used an arm choke to submit Kyle at only 34 seconds, and that brings us here to Pride Bad Blood. Pre-fight walkouts for both men on the DVD extras. And Gracie comes out to the ring in a gi and with Henzo Gracie in his corner. The gi comes off before the fight though. Also, looky here, it's your favorite Nobu asshole. Nobuhiko Takada is in Matsui's corner.
No, I didn't watch this. I didn't get to see him.
Come on, it's
all right.
Chance.
I guess.
There is no other opportunity for a fuck you Takada.
All right. Go ahead. All right. Give me the intro again. I gotta get hyped up for this moment.
Also, looky here, it's your favorite Nobu asshole. Nobuhiko Takada is in Matsui's corner.
What? Oh my god, I didn't even get to see. No, you know what? Just because of that, let's do this, listeners. Come on. I know I can fit. Let's do this like Dragon Ball Spirit Bomb. Give me your energy. Ready? Fuck you, Takeda. Fuck you, Takeda.
It's time for the recap. Let's go. In round 1, a long standoff, not much happening. Then Rodrigo shoots in, takes Matsui down through the ropes. Wow. Clinch against the ropes. Rodrigo takes Matsui down. Ground and pound, kind of. Matsui gets a bloody nose. Matsui reverses Rodrigo. He bleeds on Rodrigo, then loses position and falls as Rodrigo goes for a triangle. Rodrigo gets on top. Matsui's nose is checked, and then the round ends. Round 2.
One second. I gotta say this because it just made me... You just made me like laugh internally because as you were saying that and you were saying like Rodrigo this, Rodrigo that, all I could think of is that Gaston song. It's like nobody gets kicked like Rodrigo gets kicked like Rodrigo.
Round 2, takedown by Rodrigo. Matsui is active off his back with crazy baby taps to the top of Rodrigo's head. Stand up after 2 minutes, and wow, yellow card given to both men for being boring, I guess. Rodrigo gets Matsui's back, goes for a rear naked choke, and somehow Matsui survives and gets out of it, then gets on top. Ref paused to move the fighters, but Matsui's nose is really looking bad. Restart, nothing happens. Round ends. Round 3, Matsui goes for a takedown and Rodrigo pulls guard, goes for a guillotine, and it works. works. Matsui passes out. Rodrigo Gracie thus wins via submission at 28 seconds of the third round. This fight was okay, but I guess I can understand why it wasn't included on the single disc DVD release. They were being cheap. Using a single layer DVD, and thus they needed to save space. And this was kind of like a low card match. It was okay though, 6 out of 10. So what would become of our two bad bullshit and shitters here? We'll next see Daijiro at Pride Shockwave 2002, held on August 28th. There, Matsui will play gatekeeper again against another newcomer, Jarrell Venetian, Dutch kickboxer who comes into that fight with a record of 2-2 and 1 no contest. As for Rodrigo, he won't be back until Pride 24. Cold Fury 3, held in December of 2002. There he takes on Yuki Sasaki, Shuto and Pancrase alum, who will be making his one and only Pride appearance. We'll see you then, boys.
Carlos Newton, also known as the Ronin, takes on Jose Pele Landi, the Vale Tudo expert from Brazil. Tough match, Bob.
Oh, man, he picked an opponent right there. He is a Thai boxing expert with KO power. You should see his knees, flying knees all over the place. This fight could actually end in a KO. You're a pre-med student. Tell me about that.
Well, I'm going to university in Canada. We didn't use the term pre-med, but we have pre-med requisites that we have to do before we enter med school, and that's what I'm doing right now. Yeah, I'm doing studying linguistics, psychology, and pre-med.
Then why in the world are you getting in the ring and fighting Pele?
Because I'm pretty motivated to be a fighter. I love fighting. I want to be the world's greatest middleweight, welterweight fighter there's ever been. You know, and that's basically my drive. And Pele is a stepping stone. You know, he's considered one of the great fighters of my weight class, and yeah, we're gonna take that step.
When you become a doctor, are you still gonna fight?
Definitely. I want to be an orthopedic surgeon and fighting at the same time.
So will you have double practices? Won't that be conflict of interest? You hurt the guy in the ring, and then he'll go to you later?
Yeah, I'll make more money that way.
I gave you that one.
Oh, yeah, you work good.
Carlos Newton is one of the most formidable submission guys on the ground. On his back, he's got a great triangle choke, a great armbar. It could go either way. Classic battle of striker versus grappler.
The next fight at Pride Bad Blood sees the return of Jose Landi Pele. This guy and his fucking 10 names. The next fight at Pride Bad...
By the way, I want to point out, that's probably why Boss and Quadros only refer to him as Pele. Yes. Like the entire time. Pele. Like the card just says Pele.
The return of Jose Pele Landi Johns taking on Carlos Newton. Pele was 28 years old and his record was 19-6. Carlos Newton, meanwhile, was 25 years old and his record was 10-5. It's been a while since we've seen either man. Pele was last seen at Pride 14, Clash of the Titans, in May of 2001, where he lost to Daijiro Matsui via decision. Pele hasn't fought at all since then. Carlos was seen even further back at Pride 12, Cold Fury 1, in December of 2000, where he beat Yohil de Oliveira via decision. Since that time, he's fought 3 times. Once at the Kuwaiti event Shidokan Jitsu Warriors War 1, he fought and lost to Dave Mene there via decision. If you're interested in knowing more about Shidokan Jitsu, be sure to check out the Classic MMA Revival episode I did covering that event. After Shidokan Jitsu, Carlos appeared in a duo of UFC events, the first of which saw him fighting Pat Miletich for the UFC Welterweight Championship at UFC 31 in May of 2001. Carlos would choke Pat out with a bulldog choke in the middle of the 3rd round, thus becoming the new UFC Welterweight Champion. Carlos would have to defend that title at UFC 34 in November of 2001, where Matt Hughes was the challenger. Matt Hughes would knock Carlos out using a slam in the 1st round, kind of a controversial fight. And Matt would become the new welterweight champion and beginning a great reign at the top of the division. Matt would hold on to the welterweight title until January 2004 with 5 title defenses until he lost to BJ Penn. Penn would later vacate the title, and Matt Hughes would fight for it again at UFC 50 in October 2004 against Georges St-Pierre, where Matt won via armbar. Matt would hold on to that title that time until November 2006, when GSP came for a rematch that he won. After that, Matt Hughes began a decline, which saw him go 3-3 over his next 6 fights, leading to a retirement in 2011. And why the fuck am I talking about Matt Hughes? That brings us here to Pride Bad Blood. Pre-fight, Quadros interviews Newton, who uses semantics regarding pre-med school to dress Quadros down.
No, I'm not gonna lie. Like,
what a dick.
No. What a dick, Quadros, man. Because, like, yeah, Newton, it's like, oh, pre-med. It's like, no, we don't use that in Canada, asshole. I'm 100% behind Newton on this one, dude. Carlos is right. It's like, fuck you.
I am saying that Newton's being a dick.
No. Newton has the right to call fucking Quadros out for his stupidity of calling it pre-med.
Okay, semantics.
Yeah. Semantics goddamn matter. Semantics goddamn matter. By the way, guess what? Guess what time it is?
What time is it?
It's time to play Who Does He Look Like?
Oh. Who's looking like who here?
Huh? Carlos Newton.
Okay.
Is looking.
In this interview with Quadros.
Yes. Well, I mean, and in his fight in general, because of, his haircut and all that stuff. Now, this is a kind of an obscure one, so this is only going out to those of our listeners that have ever seen the show Community.
Mm.
In the show Community, there's a side character, like random appearances, that just comes out and only speaks by saying, "Pa." That's it. That's all he does. The actor's name is Luke Youngblood. I had to look it up right now, listeners, because I had no fucking idea.
Luke Youngblood?
Yeah.
Newton also says when he becomes a doctor, he's still going to fight. This allows Quadros to set up a joke, which he demands some acknowledgement for. Quadros, what a cracker. Interesting story here, fight fans. Newton never became a doctor. He became an architect or something in that field after 2009.
Jesus, that's a fucking change in a career, dude.
He also became an MMA coach. I wonder what happened with that whole doctor thing. Still no walkouts for our fighters. Carlos loosens up in the ring. The Ronin, Quadros says. That's his nickname, the Ronin. Pele does look like a badass here in his dark and gold trunks. Actually, both guys look like badasses. I'm hoping for a great fight. And guess what, fight fans?
No, guess what? Guess what? It's time for a new segment.
Oh, okay.
It's a brand new segment, listeners. You know how I love this segment, What Does He Look Like? Mm-hmm. We're going to do a different segment, What Doesn't He Look Like?
What the fuck?
Pele does not look like Pele. I'm just throwing that out there.
Oh, the soccer player.
Yes, the soccer player, you asshole.
And guess what, fight fans? Good Vibe is coming back at you with a play-by-play for this one, too. So, Good Vibe, take it away.
What? All right, well, if that's not how it looks.
I was about to shit a brick if you didn't do the fucking... I was going to be like, oh, you motherfucker.
Oh, my God. All right, listeners, so before the fight begins, I just got to point out that both of these fighters, the way they look, the body builds, and how they fight, I am hoping for 100% one of the best striking matches. Let's see how this works out. Pele walks in relaxed, arms down. He is one of those fighters that is way too cocky to start it off. He literally is getting right next up to Newton with his arms down, not caring about shit. Newton, however, is very hesitant. He keeps his distance. So Pele comes in with a couple more punches that, he's just showing Carlos that he has better range because it's just wimpy punches. They're not meant to hit shit. Carlos shoots in for some strikes, but tries for the takedown. Pele easily counters with a knee. Carlos is not having a good time right now. Both fighters clenching, and either one trying to take takedown, but it is not working out. Newton able to get the takedown and get into half guard. Newton able to get into half guard. However, Pele gets back up. Newton gets back up, and Pele this time is the one with the takedown, quickly stands up and goes to another standing armbar against Newton, who's still on the ground. It's trying to lift him up, but unfortunately is not able to get it. Newton quickly stands up, and both fighters are now back up on their feet. Once again, they are now clinching, while this time, however, they are trading in some blows, however, not that much strong. Newton, with the surprising judo throw, takes Pele onto the mat. However, this entire time, every time Newton gets Pele on the mat, he can't seem to get a good position. Pele, the slippery motherfucker that he is, once again is able to get back up, but Newton quickly reacts and takes him back down to half guard. Newton tries to stand up to see if he can get a leg lock, but Pele will have none of it. Newton switches to side mount and almost had an arm, but Pele once again slips away. All right, listeners, at this point in time, I gotta say, Pele reminds me more like early Pride Soji. Slippery motherfucker. You can't keep this guy on any sort of grapple. Pele almost losing the match after Newton gets an armbar, but Pele able to stand up and get out of it. Why do I keep seeing Pele and thinking Pete? Fuck if I know. Both fighters stand up and exchange some strikes. A giant knee by Pele. Oh my goodness, how the heck is Newton still up? Fighters are now switching strikes. I mean, they're looking good, but Newton with that other one looks tired. And oh my god, what the hell? What a giant knee from Pele.
Oh, beautiful knee! My God, a beautiful knee by Pele!
This is holy shit. How is Newton even standing up? Caught Newton straight in the face.
Yes, it was a perfect knee at full force.
I mean, this was literally like a Karate Kid moment of like premeditated fucking slaughter. Fight continues. Newton looking out of it. It looks like that knee just knocked him into a different city. Jesus Christ. Fighters go back down on the ground. What's this? Listeners, you're not going to believe this, but Carlos Newton is getting his energy back. Even after that knee, I don't even know how this is possible, listeners. I would be out like a bitch, but Carlos Newton is getting it. He gets the armbar, and he makes Pele tap.
Very stylized grappling by both men. Carlos looks like his head is starting to become clearer.
Armbar coming up. Armbar coming up.
3 minutes
He's got the armbar coming up. Oh, my God. This could be it. This could be it. He's got to squeeze his hips up.
Carlos trying everything he can to armbar Pele.
Yeah! Oh, my God! Oh, my God! Beautiful!
Pele tapped out. Pele tapped out. Unbelievable turnaround.
Holy shit. After that knee, getting anyone to tap is just ridiculous. Crazy.
Amazing fight. Definitely a must-see if you love MMA. Great fight.
No, listeners. If you don't even love MMA, still a great fight.
Yes. Yeah, it is an awesome fight. Newton, after the fight here, though, he tries to congratulate Pele on an amazing fight. He's rebuked with a punch to the gut. Newton meant no harm, and he still tries to give props to Pele, but is turned away by Pele's corner. I can understand Pele was upset that he didn't win, but he has nothing to feel bad about. That was a great fight. Newton gets his check, and the men finally embracing, it's left unresolved as Pele is off to the back, and Newton is on the mic. He gets a rise from the crowd with his Japanese, who appreciate this gaijin speaking their language.
I'm going to understand it for sure because he's learning Japanese right now.
He speaks fluent Japanese.
Hi, konbanwa. Here we go. That's good evening. That I can understand.
Very good.
拙者は浪人でござる。皆さん、久しぶりですね。
Maybe he's talking about that girl. No. We
元気ですか? We better talk about it because we're going to talk about her.
皆さん、今夜も私を応援してくれて、もうありがとう。
He must have said something flattering about one of the Japanese broadcast commentators.
皆さん、今夜の私の試合はいかがでしたか?
He's saying thank you for your support and he asked how was my fight.
プライドの試合はとても面白いですね。
Now he's telling a joke.
皆さん、
And there's the
この
punchline.
後の試合もきっと面白いでしょう。見てください。
And he said pride fights are fun. Well, I'm sure that knee wasn't too much fun, but the ending was definitely fun for him.
Wow, man, that's really impressive.
And one thing that you really got to say about Carlos Newton is that he did it with really good, clean technique.
Here we go, the Dragon Ball!
Dragon Ball Z Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah!
Unfortunately, Quadros and Boss are no help here, as I guess they aren't being fed a translation. A lot is lost to us. The crowd laugh and cheer, and then when he says goodbye, he does a Dragon Ball.
I know. I saw that. Wait, was that a Dragon Ball or was that Hadouken? Because it looked more Hadouken.
They specifically mentioned it was a Dragon Ball. Because he goes, Hani, Kani, whatever the fucking thing is. I don't fucking know Dragon Ball. And then we're off to the next fight. Good vibe. Any final thoughts on Newton versus Pele?
You know what? It was a great fight. I'm really glad I got to do this, the play-by-play, but because it kept going. And not only that, the fact that Newton was able to pull off the victory after that knee is really just impressive.
Yes, here's my take. This was a real technical battle in a good way. It was tense and it had a lot of energy, and holy shit, did Newton take some knocks. This was an epic battle. Surprise submission was the cherry on top. This was borderline perfect fight, 9 out of 10. So what will become of our two bad feels grapplers here? Carlos Newton will head off once again and not be back for a while. Pride 25 is the next we'll see him. That's called Body Blow. Over a year later in March of 2003. There, Carlos takes on Anderson Silva. As for Pele, this unfortunately would do it for his Pride career. He would have 13 more fights in his career, going 5-7 over that time. And his record would end at 24-14, with his last fight taking place in 2009. Pele would have many notable bouts, including against Renato Sobral at Jungle Fight 3 in October of 2004, a decision loss. Alexander Shlemenko at Jungle Fight 5 in November of 2005, a decision win. Travis Lutter at Cage Rage 15 in February of 2006, a submission loss. Tali Sleitis at Jungle Fight 6 in April of 2006, a submission loss. Jake the Juggernaut Ellenberger at EFC 5 Revolution in November of 2007, a KO loss. Brian Gasaway at TKO number 32. Ultimatum in February of 2008, a bout which Pele broke his leg. Pele would cap off his career on a high note, though, as famous tomato can Shannon Rich handed Pele an 8-second KO at King of the Cage, Capital Excalibur, in August of 2009.
Capital Excalibur?
Yes, I have no idea what
Did
the fuck
Excalibur get sent to Capital City?
Right.
Is that what it is?
I think they just put in random words into a generator, like a random word generator. Whatever it fucking spit out, that's what it came
You know
out.
what? But I will say this. This brings up a very good question. Why aren't more events called Excalibur? It's such a fucking fun word.
Yeah, it is. I agree. And that's all I have to say about Pele. May God be with you, Pele.
Welcome to Intermission.
All right, everybody. We're going to be playing a very special game. Just me again, no good vibe for this. We used to record the video games as like a legitimate intermission. We'd do half the fights, whatever, and then we'd take a break in between whatever the halfway mark was. And well, we kind of stopped doing that, and we started playing the games like a day or two after. But it's become such a pain to even get good vibe over here to record the audio for the review that getting them to come back and do video game is probably impossible. So it's just me again, and as you can see from the title, yes, how fitting, we're watching Pride Bad Blood, so we're gonna play Bloodstorm. This is made by the same company that made, I'm pretty sure, Time Killers. I think Time Killers came first, then this, and I will say this game came probably at the height of the Arcade Fighter, and of course Mortal Kombat, trying to capitalize on the violence of Mortal Kombat, because Mortal Kombat really was a cultural phenomenon. Pop culture, gaming culture, Congress laws, the focus of Congress because of the violence. They wanted to place the blame on Mortal Kombat for causing kids to go crazy. Anyway, This is sort of riding on the coattails of Mortal Kombat, but in its own style. You know, it marched to the beat of its own drumming. A very poor game, I wouldn't say it was poorly made. There's a lot of passion that was put into this game, a lot of effort. They really put in a lot of effort, but I would say maybe the developers don't really know how to make a game. So let's put in some credits here and let's pick a character. Let's see who we got here. We got Fallout, Freon, original name, Mirage, Tremor, Razor, Talon, Hellhound, and Tempest. Well, let's start with Hellhound here. He looks pretty cool. So yeah, you can see this game is very janky looking. The backgrounds are janky, the background animations are janky, the character animations are good, but the quality of everything is just kind of subpar. But you can tell, man, they really put in a lot of effort in this game. They really cared about it. There's a lot of passion. It's just they didn't have the skills to make a good game. Though this game is really fun. It's a bad fighting game, but it's fun, and you know, it's charming. Even though it's trying not to be charming, you can tell like all this stuff is tongue-in-cheek, the violence. And I'm kind of cheap here. I can just push a button here and do crazy stuff. I mean, you can remove guys' arms. I don't think I have the ability. Oh my god, he cut off my left. Oh my god, and he cut off my head. You see, that's just charming. There's nothing offensive about this game. But it's very amateurish graphics on the characters here. I mean, I'm not no game graphics designer, but I could do graphics just as good as this with, you know, Paint Shop Pro. But still, I gotta give them credit. They really did give it their all. They were really, really psyched about this game. You can tell. Whoa! I gained optic laser. Nice. How do I use that? I'm fighting Talon now. What the fuck is this guy? Get him! Just fucking burn him with your shit. Get him with the comet. The hellfire. Get him! Burn him up. Just get him. Yeah, burn him. I don't think you can do like actual character fatalities. Like, I don't think I could burn him. You can do like, oh, he got me. You can do that. Like, you can cut him up. You can cut him in half. But everybody can do that. I don't think like my Hellhound guy. I don't believe that I have like a fire fatality that'll actually burn the guy up. You know. Come on, get him. What am I doing? I gotta focus here. Get him. Just burn him. He's gonna beat me. But I will continue. If he beats me, I'll play somebody else. Burn him! Yes. Get him. Oh, he's got him. Nice. Yes. See, poor graphics. They're so cheap. Everything is cheap about this game, but it's like not cheap. Like they put all their heart and effort into this game, so to call it cheap is kind of not fair. But this game is totally cheap and generic, but it's not generic, you know? It's a generic fighter, but look at this. Come on, it's got so much style and pizzazz and character. Oh, I got the cruise missile. Now, how do I use that? I don't understand. I got the laser eye, the optic eye, and now I have the cruise missile. How do I use it? What button do I press to use this shit? And this game has a dedicated block button. So it's sort of like Mortal Kombat, but it's got 4 buttons. It has a block button, a punch button, a stronger punch button, and a kick button. Whoa, did you see that? So I gotta oh god, he cut off both my arms. Oh, fucker. How do I use the cruise missile? Shoot, cruise missile, go! Get out of here with your fucking green jism. Oh my god. Oh. I gotta remember to block. Look at how I'm blocking here. It's like I'm holding my, you know, my schlong. Get him. Yes, I cut off an arm. Get him again. Cut him off at the body. Ooh, did you see that? Wow. So awesome. I have no penis whatsoever. My guy had a vagina. He had a flat, like, crotch, like he tucked his penis in between, you know, his legs. That was really embarrassing. He should not pose like that ever again. Oh, boy. He's gonna beat me, isn't he? Oh, you're not gonna beat me! I'm gonna get you with the fire! The fire of hell! He got me. Fallout! Look at, he's got like no penis either. He's got a little crotch down there. We'll play it one more time. Who looks good here at Fight Fans? Freon, Tremor, Razor. Razor looks pretty cool. Let's go with him. Oh, look at how cheap the reflection is. That is just sad. But see, once again, they're like, hey, yeah, put in a reflection on the ice. That's cool. Oh, it looks so bad. But still, they did it, you know? Like they did it, and they're like, seeing how bad it looks, they're like, well, it's still a cool effect, so just leave it in. No, make it darker, like translucent, possibly. But again, this game was made probably on a shoestring budget. They hired fucking the kid down the street to do the graphics in fucking MS Paint. Yeah, but still, this game is so charming. I got the Hellfire? Wow, nice. Your fighting abilities have attracted the attention of Necron. He is dispatching Shadow to eliminate you. Ooh. So yeah, see, this game has somewhat, well, depending on the stage you're fighting in, if you win on that stage, like that ice stage there, that will trigger fighting this guy. So the boss battles aren't random. You just have to fight and win on a certain stage. And you'll get like a secret boss level. Where's that guy? What is that purple thing he's got? Is that a dildo? Gross. Look at it. Oh, God. Oh, boy. Look at it now. It's fucking... Don't want to get hit with that thing. God. What is this? Finishing maneuver? He bends you over and fucking drills that thing in you? Whoa. Man, that guy's sadistic. Fucking cold-hearted. Bad blood. Yes, I whipped his ass. That was easy. Look at it. He looks like a big nerd. Next fight. Mirage. Can't even see her face. What does she got there? Is that a bazooka? Get her. This will be the last fight. I'm kind of overplaying this game. It's fun, though. Do yourself a favor. Go download this for MAME, for your favorite arcade emulator. Play it with some friends. You'll have a fucking blast. Wow, she destroyed me. She got big boobs. She likes to fuck. That's how her boyfriend describes her. She got big boobs. She likes to fuck. That's actually an inside joke to a guy, this customer that was at a car dealership, and he was describing his significant other who was off in the distance looking at a car, and he described her as she's got big boobs and she likes to fuck. That was the sweetest thing he's ever said about her. So self-unaware. He's describing his wife to strangers that way. He's like an old hillbilly too, you know. Oh, she's got me. Oh, she's gonna blow up my head. Wow, she did the fatality on me. Oh, that's it. Let's get back to the fights.
And our second half's about to begin.
This next fight features a transplant. Keith Haring from Texas now lives in your home country, Holland, and trains under Core Hammers and Thai boxing. He's going to need that against the Ukrainian punching machine, Igor Vovchanchyn. You're a very low-key individual, but the hair offsets that. Would you like to flash? Okay, here we go. Keith Haring, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to fight Igor Vovchanchyn, and he's a pretty reputable puncher. What is your game plan against him?
Well, I think the big question tonight is, everybody knows I've been training with Core Hammers in Holland for the last year and a half. The Muay Thai stuff is coming along. The kicks, the knees, the punches are coming along. But I am coming from a wrestling and submissions background, so the big question is, am I going to stand up or go to the ground with them? And you guys are just going to have to wait till tonight to find that one out.
There's no glimpse you can give me?
No, cannot. Got to keep it all secret.
And you won't crack on that?
No, well, wait a little bit and you find out.
Yeah, this is going to be a very tough fight to call. What's going to happen?
I think if Heath Herring is smart, he should take the fight to the ground. He's been training very hard on striking, but you know, Igor Vovchanchyn, he's a hard hitter. You know, you don't want to trade with this guy. So the smartest thing for him to do is take Vovchanchyn to the ground, which is not his style, let's face it, and try to finish him there. Is he going to take him to the ground? My God, I don't know. Vovchanchyn's got good takeout protection.
But if Vovchanchyn gets that one punch in, it could be curtains for Heath Herring. We'll see. But Heath Herring is very good at escaping submissions, so this is going to be a real competitive match.
And now for the third match.
Here he is from the United States.
The United States of America.
This fight is a crowd favorite. Oh, you should hear the audience. You can't hear it on your TV screen at home, folks. But if you're here, it's unreal. The whole crowd is going for it.
These two young lions have got to meet, have had to meet, because Heath Herring is on Golden Glory team. Igor Vovchanchyn has beaten two Golden Glory team members in Gilbert Ivel by choke and Valentine Overeem by leg lock. Heath Herring may be there to avenge the honor of the Golden Glory team based in Amsterdam, Holland.
Yeah, one thing is for sure, that Heath Herring is a better grappler than Gilbert Ivel.
The fifth bout of Pride Bad Blood is a whopper, which sees the return of Igor Vovchanchyn, taking on a returning Heath Herring. Igor was 28 years old at the time, and his MMA record was 55 and won no contest. Herring, meanwhile, was 24 years old, and his MMA record was 18 and 7. We last saw Igor at Pride 18, Cold Fury 2, where he submitted Valentine Overeem with a heel hook. But in an error I must correct now, I completely neglected to mention that Igor took part in a rings event in between Igor's appearances in Pride 17 and Pride 18. At least, I think I completely neglected to mention it. I have a bad memory, so I'll cover it again in case I didn't. Yes, on November 10th, 2001, Igor appeared at Rings Lithuania, where he took on Ricardus it's a Lithuanian name. And I'm part Lithuanian, but I can't fucking...
You're part Lithuanian?
Yeah. Where he took on Ricardus Rosavicius and beat him with leg kicks in the second round. As for Herring, we last saw him at Pride 17, Championship Chaos, where he lost to Minotauro via decision. He hasn't fought at all since then. Pre-fight, Quadros interviews Herring, and oh god, his fucking hair. His fucking hair! He talks about his training with Core Hammers in Holland. And hey, we get walkouts! Well, a walkout. Beggars can't be choosy. Igor's already in the ring, but Heath comes out dressed in his Texas Duster.
I'm sorry. We didn't get a walkout for Heath. We got a clip from the WWE about Undertaker coming in for WrestleMania, all right? That's really what we got.
I love his quartermen are also dressed in the Dusters to complete the look.
It's like so many Undertakers. I can't believe it.
The Ministry of Darkness. Here, you know. Geezer tidbit, Herring turns 24 a couple weeks after Bad Blood. His birthday is on March 2nd. Quadros says any other Pride, this would be the main event. Maybe...
I mean, it's big enough names to be a main event. I will give them that.
I think Herring is on the cusp of being that guy, but Igor has lost a little bit. Oh, yeah. I will say that. Quadros notes that they are worried Igor might have been burned out, having fought in 17 Pride events. That's right, Igor has been in 17 out of 22 events, with 19 fights in that time.
Now, question. Does that make him the most appearances?
Okay, let's find out. He had 19 fights over those 17 events, as 3 fights came at the Grand Prix finals. Who else comes close to that, you ask? A tie is the next closest, so yes, he is the number one most appearances. A tie is the next closest. Sakuraba and Soji have both been in 15 events. Then Gary Goodridge with 14, Matsui with 12, and then Vanderlei Silva with 11.
So he is number one of all foreigners to be in Pride.
He's number one of all fighters, number one for foreigners.
Yeah, undisputed number one for foreigners is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been in, 17 out of 22.
Yeah.
Sakuraba and Soji been in 15.
So
he's number one.
Oh, I thought you said they were tied with Soji.
No, next closest after him were tied. Sakuraba and Soji been in 15.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, Igor's still number one.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
I get you.
Igor's number one. So even though Soji, his nickname is Mr. Pride, that should go to Igor because he is Mr. Pride.
You know what other nickname? It's time for that segment again. Who does he look like? This is an easy one, listeners. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to guess it. Igor. Motherfucking Vladimir Putin.
And then the other thing is, the more I look at Igor and the more I look at him, I'm like, this motherfucker has to be related to Putin. Just like his face looks like Putin.
He actually does kind of look like Vladimir Putin.
I'm like, I can understand where Putin gets the badassness because fucking Igor can beat up a bear.
With the haircut he's pulling off and everything, he's looking more and more like Putin every fucking day.
He does look a little bit like Vladimir Putin. Funny that Quadros mentions Igor's having a bad hair day. I was just about to write a comment on how Igor has bed hair. Did he just wake up?
I'll tell you one thing, Bro. Chance looks like he's having a bad hair day.
Quadros is one to talk as we saw his hair earlier, and it was pretty fucking bad. Any thoughts before we get into this fight, Mr. Good Vibe?
I mean, this is going to be... It's one of those things where the names are big enough and good enough that I think this is going to be a great match. It's always, to me, it always kind of is sad because Igor made his name, honestly, in Pride by being an amazing striker. And from there on, people know this. So no one will go as a striking match. So I'm hoping he has the build for a striker. He likes striking, so I'm hoping they'll go that way.
Hope so too. Let's find out. Round 1, the bell rings, and Herring charges at Igor, throwing a kick that is deflected. Igor is on his heels, and Herring shoots in. Igor timing a good knee that doesn't seem to have any effect. They are clinched against the ropes. Igor manages to turn Herring and spin away from him. Herring bumbles in and falls towards Igor's feet, who hooks Herring's arms and pulls him up. But Heath had grabbed the left leg on his way up, and Igor falls back with Herring on top in guard. Herring tries to pass but loses it. Igor slugs him. Little lift and slam by Herring. Steady work by Herring, and then he stands on his feet and delivers a few good ones. Then hammer fists by Herring. More of the same with body men trying to punch each other. What's body men? More of the same with both men trying to punch each other. Then Herring starts to get some good ones off before Igor decides to try and escape this situation. He rolls for a leg, then stands. Herring grabs him and delivers a knee. Igor is busted open. Not good. The men take a bit of a breather here. Then as Heath moves in for a leg kick, Igor is late trying to grab it and comes over the top with a right, and the men fall to the mat with Igor on top in half guard. Then Igor gets mount, but Herring spins. Gives up his back, but Igor has lost position and Heath is free. Igor is so kind of small and stumpy that, you know, when he's on the back, he's like fucking, it's almost like a piggyback ride, you know?
Yeah,
so
and that's the thing is, that's honestly why I think Igor was always more of a striker, because I don't think he has really the build to and I mean, even Boston Quadros were saying that every time he tries to get a chokehold, he's not going to get it on Heath Herring. Yeah. Motherfucker's like, 5 foot taller than him.
Yes. He lost position and Heath is free. Igor is standing. Heath grabs his leg, but Igor manages to maintain control in a forward headlock position. 5 minutes down in round 1. Igor knees. Heath goes to stand. Igor stays in close, punching him. Heath clinches. Knees. Then they separate. Heath goes for a high kick that Igor catches and uses to take Herring to the mat, but Heath positions immediately for a leg triangle, and after a tense moment, Igor powers out. He's in side control now. Wings in a right. Then takes a couple breaths, tries a couple knees to the body. He goes for a mount, but Heath spins out, gets to his knees, goes to stand, and Igor is late with a knee that doesn't come close. The men trade. Igor sneaks around Heath's back and drags him to the mat. Has his back. 3 minutes left now. Heath is working for Kimura. Igor moves to side control. Igor then rolls. Heath is now on top, still with the arm. In side control, he throws a knee. Igor gets up, knees. What a war, Quadros says. Knee by Herring. Haymaker by Igor. Heath dives for the legs. Igor sprawls. Igor shoves Heath with his body, takes his back. Heath goes for his knees, and Igor's back mount has been awful this fight as he loses position just like before. But Heath is like molasses, slow. But he does turn into Igor and manages somehow to get on top. 1 minute left now in round 1. He tries to work ground and pound. Igor tries to stifle him. Then the bell rings, ending round 1. Quadros calls it maybe the best first round ever.
I don't think either one of them have ever had a penalty for being any kind of misconduct, but that was one of the greatest first rounds I've ever seen.
That, but I will say, he wants to make it that. Like, if you listen to Quadros commentating, he keeps saying this is the most best, active, the best fight. This is never going to be boring.
Yeah,
blah, 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 because these both of these fighters are the cleanest fighters. They never stand
he
still.
alluded to Herring versus Minotauro being the best heavyweight fight ever.
Yeah,
and that this might be the new best heavyweight fight ever, but we've got to see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's go right into it. Round 2, next round. The bell rings. Herring comes out with a leg kick. Then as Herring comes in for another low kick, Igor is ready. He catches it and puts Herring down with a punch. He gets on top in side control. He works small punches and some knees. Quadros lets us know that Igor really wants a rematch with Mario Sperry, who tapped him out in his last fight, and also Mark Coleman.
Ukraine wants a rematch with Mario Sperry, the man who choked him out at the Pride Fighting Championships Championship Chaos last year. But even more than that, he wants a rematch with Mark Coleman, the man he lost to in the finals of the Pride Grand Prix 2000.
Igor feels he can beat both men. Quadros then says that Igor respects Mike Tyson and that Tyson is well respected in the Ukraine.
Because he said he's well respected, Tyson that is, in Ukraine.
Oh my God.
There's been talk that Tyson, they're trying to entice Tyson into the ring of the Pride Fighting Championships.
Huh?
Yeah, that was a weird fact.
Yes.
I mean,
that's a weird geezer tidbit.
Yeah, no, so fucking weird. So this is, what year is this?
2002.
2002. So Tyson is not so far out his prime.
Yeah, he hasn't gone off the deep end yet. Yeah.
So I understand why fighters like Ukraine, but Ukraine. That's
the Ukrainian.
But then again, this is like a Hasselhoff Germany kind of thing.
It could be. Boss laughs over that little fact though. Not a whole lot happens. 2 minutes left in round 2, then 1 minute, still the same. Heath finally moves and rolls, giving up his back before Igor can get anything off. Heath rolls again and captures Igor's leg, but Igor smothers him and gets free. Then the bell rings, ending round 2. Any thoughts?
I mean, it's kind of a weird Freaky Friday situation for me. Because you have Igor always trying for the takedowns. Mm-hmm. And Heath being the one striking.
Yeah, it is like a reversal of roles here.
Yeah.
How's this one gonna end? Let's find out right now. Round 3, the bell rings, the men meet. Herring tries 2 straight kicks in a row. Igor comes back with the right. Then Herring shoots and takes Igor down to the mat. He tries to pass, but Igor and his stumpy legs somehow keep Herring in place. It's a Christmas miracle, I said to myself. Whoa! That was a solid blow, says Boss.
Yeah, from the guard. Whoa, that was a solid blow.
As Heath works ground and pound, there's an inadvertent headbutt. Igor says he's okay, and the fight resumes. Herring with numerous right hands. Igor occasionally throws some back. Igor turns under Herring and tries for something, but not sure what he's aiming for here. And then he regains guard. Herring stays active with punches. 3 minutes left now in our fight. Continuous work from Herring, lesser work from Igor, who is stifled under Herring. Down to 1 minute now, and Yuji Shimada comes in, stands up the fighters, and presents Igor with a yellow card. Well, that cements this one, fight fans. Igor cannot make up the difference in less than 1 minute. That being the yellow card is taken away, is given an advantage to Herring for the decision.
I mean,
there's no way Igor can fucking make up a yellow card. Like, the fight's done.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those things that, like, it was a weird yellow card. Let's be honest.
Weird yellow card.
Especially when you do think of the fact that, and once again, this is something Boss and Quadros are bringing up a lot, and it makes sense, is these are some of the cleanest fighters you will have.
Right.
You know, they don't go for cheating, they don't go for that shit.
Yeah.
But and so all of a sudden, a fucking yellow card. Even though Heath did not get a yellow card when he fucking headbutted.
Yeah. So the yellow card and Pride this will become kind of a trademark of Pride. Fighters who referees have deemed a fighter not doing anything or not doing enough to try and
end the fight is the main thing.
Not only that, but escape.
Okay.
Like if a guy's on top of you and he's beating the crap out of you and you're just laying there, despite the fact that you're getting the crap beat out of you, you're not doing anything, to move. So that's why Yuji Shimada, this was a weird yellow card, and I don't think Igor deserved it, even though he was underneath Herring. And Herring was just too stifling. It wasn't really Igor's fault.
No,
it's not like he was just laying there and not doing absolutely anything.
Heath is a bigger guy.
Yeah,
he's bigger than Igor.
It was a bad yellow card.
Yeah, and for a second I thought he was giving it to Heath for some reason.
Yeah,
because that was the other part that got me is there was no warning.
Yeah,
I mean Heath just got a stern talking to by the ref when he headbutted Igor. Yeah. Igor just gets a fucking straight yellow card. Fucking bullshit.
Quadros and Boss are confused over why Igor got the yellow card. Herring with a big roundhouse. Igor pounces, but Herring reverses him, and Herring is back on top, punching again. The fight ends here, though, with no finish coming as the bell rings. Igor has a lot of welts on the side of his face from Herring's punches. And I'm positive he didn't win this one. But, to be sure, let's head over to the judges to learn our result, which is...
What a round number one this was.
Judge Nishi, Keith. Judge Koyashi, Keith. Judge Koyashi.
Okay, Heath Herring has done it. He has decision the very tough Igor Vovchanchyn. Another huge win.
Heath Herring, victor via unanimous decision after 3 rounds. Herring gets his check and trophy. Igor departs. An important note that on his way out, Herring shakes the hands of Boss and Quadros, and then we're off to the next bout. Good vibe. Any final thoughts here on Igor versus Herring?
I mean, it was a good fight. Like I said, the Freaky Friday moments kind of threw me off. But it just, I don't know. I mean, I personally think, and I don't know this doesn't happen, but I personally think this fight should have been a draw.
Yeah, I could see it. This fight was okay. It could have been amazing if there was more action on the feet. The claims that this was the best heavyweight fight ever from Quadros died down pretty quick.
Oh my God. They died down immediately.
The second round.
It was one of those things where it's so hilarious.
It wasn't brought up ever again.
No, bullshit. He kept bringing it up. He's like, active fight or blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And I'm like, clearly we are not watching the same fight, dude.
Yeah, so no, this wasn't the best heavyweight fight ever. It was just okay. 7 out of 10. So what would become of our 2 bad nut busters here? Both men next returned to Pride at Pride 22. Beasts from the East 2 in September of 2002, which is also both men's next immediate MMA bout. Igor takes on Quentin Rampage Jackson, and Herring takes on Yuri Kokin. Kokin. He's a Russian guy. Yuri Kokin, Russian MMA fighter who previously fought in rings, who will be making his one and only one Pride appearance. We'll see you boys then. Now I don't feel so bad about fucking up his name because he's only on one Pride, so who gives a shit?
Okay, I'm here with the Pride heavyweight champion, Antonio Rodrigo Minotauro Nogueira. Now, let's talk about that. How did you get the nickname Minotauro?
Like a couple of years ago, I was training boxing in the gym, and they asked me about some nickname, and they put the name because I'm a scary man. They said that I'm big and I'm pretty scared, something like that.
And do you think that you're still scary in the ring of Pride?
Yeah, when I get there, I try to be scary.
In a non-title fight, Antonio Rodrigo Minotauro Nogueira will take on Enson Inoue, a very tough individual, but he's going to basically need to win the lottery to win this fight.
Oh, yeah, he does, because he's coming off of 3 losses. Actually, he stated last time that he was going to retire, but now he's back. He wants to show the people that he's still there. Rodrigo, he is a very good boxer, too. He's an amateur boxer. He was an amateur boxer, and we saw him trading punches with Heath Herring, and he was the better one in the exchange right there. So what is this fight going to be? I don't think that Anson's going to take him to the ground and stand up. I think Nogueira, he's got the better thing of it.
I think Nogueira could actually knock him out standing up, but Enson Inoue early on throws some real serious haymakers. If he catches Rodrigo, and that's a big if, it could change the fight around, but you got to go with Nogueira in this fight.
You are the heavyweight champion of Pride right now, and a lot of people regard you as the top fighter in mixed martial arts. Do you find that it's a lot like being a gunslinger in the Old West?
Yep, I feel like that, and always they're gonna challenge me. So I keep training always, and that time I'm pretty ready for this fight. I've been training too much. I've been training like 10 hours a day every day, so I'm ready for everybody.
10 hours?
10 hours away, every day.
Now this guy is widely regarded as not only the Pride heavyweight champion, but also the best fighter in the sport. Antonio Rodrigo Minotauro Nogueira from the Brazilian top team.
Yeah, I would say if I keep it room in the heavyweight division, because we got some unbelievable fighters also in the other divisions. But he certainly is very, very well-rounded. His transitions, submissions, transitions, and let's not forget his boxing. Look at him. It's very good. Takedowns, takedown defenses. Dangerous guy. 10 hours a day. He trains 10 hours a day. How can you train 10 hours a day?
Yeah, and I think he does. Look at him shadow boxing. That's a very correct stance. I don't know that many people are going to criticize those boxing punches.
Oh, no. How many amateur fought that man out differently?
第7試合を行います。青コーナー180センチ 97.5 キロEnson Inoue.
Enson looks like he's got a few new tattoos on him.
Yes, he did. He came before the fight. He came to me and he says, "But, show me your palms." He actually put also some palm tattoos in, but I see here his legs. His head.
The next bout of Pride Bad Blood sees the long-awaited return of Enson Inoue taking on a returning and current Pride heavyweight champion, Antonio Minotauro Rodrigo Nogueira. Enson was 34 years old and his MMA record was 10-6. Minotauro, meanwhile, was 25 years old and his MMA record was 14-1-1. Minotauro returns after winning the inaugural Pride heavyweight title at Pride 17 in November of 2001. He beat Heath Herring for that title, and he's welcoming back Enson Inoue, who was last seen in Pride at Pride 12, Cold Fury 1, in December of 2000, where Enson lost to Heath Herring. So by process of common opponents, Nogueira is already the winner. Nogueira beat Herring, Herring beat Enson. No reason to have this fucking fight.
Hasn't pretty much everybody lately been
Yes. Pre-fight, Quadros asks Nogueira about his Minotauro nickname. He explains that he got the nickname in a boxing gym because he's a big, scary guy. Later, he says he trains 10 hours a day.
10 hours?
Yes, Minotauro says.
And this is when the Colombian good vibe, smart as he is, finally it hits him. Minotauro is Portuguese for Minotaur.
Yeah. What's it in Spanish?
Oh.
Minotaur, what's it in Spanish?
Pretty close to the Portuguese one. Minotauro.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. There's not that much magic behind it. I don't know what the fuck you were expecting.
Well,
you were
then
expecting
how did it take so long for you to realize?
Don't fucking know, dude. Don't like that's the thing. Like I said, I don't know why it took me this long to realize it because it's not that different.
Oh my god. We then break live for Ensign and Inoe's walkout in progress, and his Hawaiian theme is playing, and he shakes hands of unknown Japanese men. This is like a funeral procession. Ensign has the picture of someone hanging from his neck. I really think it is. Quadros and Boss are silent, and I wish they would give some clarity as to exactly what is happening here. Did somebody die, and is Ensign paying honor to them? I don't know.
He's paying honor to the machine.
No explanation comes, and then Kay Grant appears like some form of slut magic, and he introduces Minotauro, who comes out to some fake 80s rock ballad. Wow, awesome descending ramp system they are using for this event, though. It's really cool. Ensign is showing off his new Yakuza tattoos in the ring. He's slowly transforming into a full-fledged mobster. Seriously, Quadros also couldn't help but notice Ensign's new tattoos.
Ensign Inoue!
Ensign looks like he's got a few new tattoos on him.
Yes, he did. He came before the fight. He came to me and he says, Boss, show me your palms.
Quadros is already discounting Ensign completely, saying his only chance is to land one of those bombs.
Ensign's only chance is to land one of those huge bombs that he was throwing when he fought Igor Bochanson in Pride Return of the Warriors back in August 2000.
Small Ensign chant breaks out right before the bell rings.
All right, 1 second. By the way,
anything you want to add?
No, not to this fight. I completely forgot this comment on the last fight.
Oh my god!
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But it's just amazing. It's amazing.
Okay.
How surprised I was. How easily Boss and Quadros are talking about being a couple.
I don't think we'll see that again because Heath Herring, as we said before, is one of the cleaner fighters in the mixed martial arts.
Yeah. I just wanted to say that.
What's so funny? Was that what you were laughing about?
Yeah, because I wanted to repeat you. You said it at the beginning, and I said, like you said, Stephen, they're very clean fighters.
You and I are so funny together because we always finish each other's sentences.
And ending each other's sentences. And having the same thoughts, and then I would expect this statement from Boss. I never expect that from Quadros. It's like, and when the ring girls are on the ring, we have the same thoughts. And I was like, holy shit, this is a Boss statement. What? Like they really have lovers do end up thinking alike after a while.
I'm gonna have to find that because that's another one I didn't know.
Oh my god, it was like a 5-minute conversation of like how like they just like finishes off the sentences and all this stuff. I'm like I'm listening to it. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Time for the fight. Round 1. The bell rings and Ensign shows off his dual stances, orthodox and southpaw. The men stand in front of each other. Ensign motionless. Minotauro feints, then shoots for the legs, but Ensign with quick little feet as he dances back and manages to avoid the takedown. Nog goes to his back on the mat. Ensign stands over him and kicks the legs. The ref comes in to stand Nogueira up. The men collide and it looks like Nogueira got the better of it. He clinches Ensign into the corner. Ensign punches the right ear. Nogueira goes for a takedown and Boss seems a bit upset over the fact that Nogueira is wanting to grapple.
Ensign into the fight by doing this.
Yeah. But what was the game plan? He said he's going to tire him out a little bit. In the beginning, he's going to do jiu-jitsu.
He passes the half guard, then starts working for a Kimura. Nog is pretty much in side control with how long his body is. Ensign with a bad move as he sits up, giving Nog more leverage, then lays back down and keeps his arms straight. Then Ensign rolls to his knees and Nogueira transitions to maybe an armbar and then he lets go. Wow, Ensign is a lucky dog. He jumps into Nog's guard, goes for a shoulder strike. He allows Nog to punch him a couple times, then goes for hard shots himself. This would be a colossal upset, says Quadros. And whoop, there goes Nogueira reversing Ensign. He's in half guard again, postures up for punches. Nog then wraps up the neck of Ensign, rolls him, and then Ensign is out, 5 minutes down. Nogueira suddenly throws his legs up, targeting Ensign's left arm, and then hooks the leg and plants Ensign to the mat. And though an omoplata is set up, Nog instead goes for the toes, wrenches on them for a moment, then lets go and goes back for the arm. Ensign tries to jump on his head with a kick, so Nog decides to control the body and attempt to finish with the omoplata. Ensign tries to slip out, Nog adjusts and then falls back for an armbar that is not exactly correct. Hooks the arm again for the omoplata, then whoop, slips around a leg for the triangle. Beautiful.
Oh, there we go for the triangle. Oh, but you see, Ensign knowing, knows his front game through, triangle choke, armbar coming up, and he will know. He's got to get out of there. He's toe hold. He should reverse to the other side. He's got the toe hold because he got his arm locked in there. No, he should have, the right head should have been on his toes, and not the left head. Ensign landing an upside down reverse knee. Hero's going to sit up now. Oh, this could dislocate. This could be bad. Oh, he gets up. He's going to hook. Yes, there he goes. Okay. That's it. And now he's going to go for, he's going to pull him into an armbar, upside down armbar. Not going to get it. Not going to get it. No, but he's waiting now. He's going to go. There he goes again. Nice. There it is. Right there. Right there. 4 minutes left. He's got it. He's got it.
He's locked it in. Ensign aside, he's okay with just going to sleep. No tap. And after a close look from the ref, the fight is over. Wow, what a sequence at the end there. Minotauro Nogueira, winner via triangle choke at 6 minutes, 7 seconds of the first round. Off camera, Ensign stands up, then face plants to the mat. He's still out of it as Nogueira celebrates, but eventually Ensign's up and he's okay. We get a camera shot of a lady, to which Boss comments, "That young lady is probably Ensign's wife or something. I don't know why." Before Quadros interjects, "That's Ensign's wife." I would have to say, good work, Ensign.
I will say this. Good work, Ensign, because it did look like he has improved. I mean, a little bit. I mean, have we ever seen him win? Like, other than, like, one of the first, like,
He beat the shit out of Soichi Nishida.
Yeah, which is not really a victory.
And then he had that grappling match with the fucking Kali Kalahapai. I think that was the guy's name.
Yeah.
And then
he's been losing, like, fucking straight up losing. So that's the thing is, like, when you think about it, I mean, he's been doing better. He got outclassed. He got outmatched in this one, but it's an improvement.
He was a product of a short MMA time period where his skills were really good, and then the sport just passed him by like really quick.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been. At this time out, I really think he was more involved with fucking Yakuza dealings. You know, getting all these tattoos serious. He's never fully fledged come out and admit his Yakuza connections. He's always implied about them. But you don't get, if you're Japanese, you don't get those style tattoos all over your body unless you're fucking in deep with the Yakuza. And I think, by the way, I will mention that Ensign's wife, if that is Ensign's wife, it is the sister to Kid Yamamoto, Norifumi Yamamoto, who just passed away 2 months ago.
Oh, Jesus.
So, yeah. Ensign had long divorced.
Yeah. Small wood,
yeah. Good vibe. Final thoughts on this fight?
No, so, like, honestly, it's one of those things where Inoue is slightly better than what he used to be, but Nogueira's just a fucking beast. He is quite literally the fucking Minotaur you do not want to run into in MMAs, man. Like, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
This was another solid bout. I liked it, but I must say, MMA as a combat sport has passed Ensign by. His skill set was really only relevant for a few short years earlier. It's funny how much MMA had evolved in those short years from, let's say, 1999 to 2001.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like completely different sport.
Oh, no, it is. I 100% agree with you.
And many guys have been left in the dust. Nogueira is the face of the new MMA, and he showed off some beautiful jits on the ground. That made this fight worth the watch. Overall, I give this one a 7 out of 10. So what would become of our two bad Bushido bros here? Nogueira will next return to Pride at Pride Shockwave 2002 on August 28th of 2002. There he takes on Bob Sapp, who will debut in Pride at Pride 20. Interestingly enough, Minotauro will have one fight outside of Pride, earlier on August 8th at UFO Legend, where he would fight lump of shit Sine Kakuta. UFO, also known as Universal Fighting Arts Organization, was an MMA promotion created by Antonio Inoki, and it looks like Nogueira appearing at the inaugural event for the promotion was a favor to Inoki. Unfortunately, UFO would only have one event in its life, which is the August 8th show. Anyway, as for Enson Inoue, this would be it for his Pride career. Enson would only have 3 more fights in his career, 2 in 2004 and then one final one in 2010. His next immediate fight after this was a rematch against Soichi Nishida. Why? That fight happened at Fury Full Contact Fighting in Guam on January 10th, 2004. Enson choked out Nishida in the first round. In April of 2004, Enson would head back to his homeland of Hawaii to fight at Super Brawl 35, where he fought Tommy Sawyer. Sawyer, whom you might say started fighting in 1998, had appearances in Extreme Challenge, World Extreme Fighting, and even rings in Japan. He had a record of 17-9 when he fought Enson at Super Brawl 35, and he would beat Enson with a TKO after 4 minutes in the first round. Enson would retire then, but would be pulled back for one more fight all the way off in 2010 at the age of 43, where at the Yoshida farewell event called Astra in April, Enson fought against a man named Ance Nansen, whom he beat with an armbar. Enson's record would end at 12-8. Enson is a great guy whom you should follow on Twitter. We'll see you around, Enson!
The Pride Middleweight Championships are up for grabs. Vanderlei Silva takes on the very, very seasoned Kiyoshi Tamura in a super fight, really, here in Japan.
It's going to be a tough one for Tamura. I think he's got to stay on his feet. Then again, I think he shouldn't stay on his feet. But what should he do? Should he take him to the ground? He better be on top if he's going to go to the ground, because if he's going to be on his back, it's going to be end of story.
You seem to be implying that this is a lose-lose situation, but technically, Tamura has got great skills. He's a pretty good kicker. He's a good submission guy. But you're going to need to be more than just good against Vanderlei Silva. He can hurt people. He can knock people out. Very hard to take down. Pretty good on the ground against Sakuraba in their second fight. Expect explosions from Vanderlei. Expect smooth submissions from Tamura.
The next bout, I believe, is actually the main event, but our DVD rip here has made it the co-main event. They've swapped. Shamrock versus Fry was before...
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because I was looking at... Jesus Christ, Silva versus fucking Tamura. It was not a fucking man.
In the original event in Japan, Shamrock versus Fry was before Minotauro versus Enson.
That's a stupid fucking scheduling.
So for the DVD release, they put it back in. They put it on the main event, the Shamrock versus Fry fight,
which they should have all the entire time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I get you. So anyway, we're
doing it as the DVD showed it.
So Silva. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which sees the return of Vanderlei Silva taking on newcomer to Pride, Kiyoshi Tamura. Vanderlei was 25 years old, and his MMA record coming into this bout was 18-3 and 1 no contest. Tamura from Japan was 32 years old, and his MMA record was a questionable 23-8-3. I'll explain that questionable bit in a moment. Vanderlei is back after not defending his Pride Middleweight Championship against Alexander Otska at Pride 18, Cold Fury 2 in December of 2001. Now he welcomes in a Japanese MMA fighter and former pro wrestler folk hero. But just who is this Kiyoshi Tamura? Born in Okayama, Japan on December 17th, 1969, Tamura trained in sumo wrestling in the 80s before being recruited to the UWF in 1989. Unfortunately for him in his career, he would have a match with Akira Maeda, where Maeda would break his orbital bone with a knee. Tamura had to take a year off and came back just in time to watch the UWF close its doors. When Nobuhiko Takada formed the UWFI in the wake of UWF's death, Tamura joined him and was taken under Papa Takada's wing. He would wrestle various matches through the early and mid-90s for Takada and his UWFI, including a mixed styles matchup against boxer Saad Muhammad, whom Tamura would choke out. Tamura was a hot property and was actively recruited by both Pancrase and Rings, in which Akira Maeda and his Fighting Network Rings organization won out. This was in 1996, and one of Tamura's final matches for the UWFI in 1996 would be against a young Kazushi Sakuraba. Now, Rings, while advertised as a real fighting MMA organization, was really a scripted shoot-style promotion from its inception until around 1999. There was much debate over this matter. People claim that all the strikes and submissions in Rings were real, but the outcomes were predetermined. Despite this, there are 18 Rings bouts listed on Tamura's record that occurred during this non-real time period.
Okay, so wait. That makes no sense to me. How can the result be predetermined, but the strikes be real? AKA, the strikes can't be real, because what if the person that's going to lose strikes you too fucking hard?
So here's how they some people defend this. They say, well, the strikes and submissions were real, but they wouldn't really torque on the submission really hard unless the ref gave them the cue that it was time to go to end the match.
Yeah, that means it's not real.
And that they would, if they were knocked down, they would get back up from a punch. Unless the ref told them it was time to go down, then they would just say, okay, I'll just lay down. I'll stay laying down.
Therefore, it's not fucking real.
Right. Despite this, there are 18 Rings bout listed on Tamura's record that occurred during this non-real time period of Rings, and his record in those Rings bout is 13-3-1. This goes back to my previous remark of questionable record. For the sake of thoroughness, I will mention that during this time period in Rings, Tamura faced off against all the Rings greats, including Mikhail Alukin, Volk Han several times, Tsuyoshi Kosaka, Hans Niemann, and even once against Akira Maeda. Maeda didn't break his orbital bone this time around. Tamura did have one real MMA bout prior to Rings' transition to a real MMA organization, and that was at the tail end of 1995 for K1, at K1 Hercules.
Hercules.
On December 9th, 1995, Tamura fought and beat Patrick Smith via heel hook in the first round. After Rings made its transition to real MMA in 1999, Tamura had notable bouts against Valentine Overeem, an armbar victory in February of 1999, Frank Shamrock, a draw in April of 1999, Dave Manet, a decision victory at the opening rounds of the 1999 King of Kings tournament in December of 99, and then later Renzo Gracie, another decision win at the final rounds of the 99 King of Kings tournament. Tamura made it all the way to the semifinals of the 99 King of Kings tournament, but fell to Renato Sobral via decision, who would later fall to Dan Henderson by decision, and that year Dan Henderson would win that whole tournament. Tamura had another go at the King of Kings tournament in 2000, in October of 2002, and fared much worse this time around. He won his first match against Rings veteran and Georgian freestyle wrestler Jaja Tikeshev.
And this has been another installment in Watch a White Man Try to Say a Name.
Georgian freestyle wrestler Jaja T. He beat him via decision, then lost to Minotauro Nogueira in his second match of the tournament via armbar. He was out of the tournament but was given a one-off fight against Renato Sobral at the finals event in February of 2001. Sobral won that one via decision again. Tamura's last fight before Pride, Bad Blood, was also his last fight for the Rings organization. That was at Rings World Title Series 1 in April of 2001, and Tamura took on Gustavo Machado, BJJ master who beat Tamura via decision, and that brings us here to Pride 19.
Bad Blood.
It's been about a year since Tamura has fought, while Vanderlei has been steadily fighting. Will that play a part in this fight? Pre-fight, no interviews or anything, nor do we get any walkouts. There is over an hour left on the DVD and only 2 fights left. Why are they cutting so much out, I wonder? In the ring, Naoto Morishita, president of Dream Stage Entertainment, the company running Pride, has entered. He's come to take the middleweight title away from Vanderlei, signifying that it is on the line for this fight. Kay Grant then introduces the fighters, and I do love his style.
180cm 86.1kg Challenger, Tamura Kiyoshi.
Challenging for the Pride Middleweight Championship is Kiyoshi Tamura from Japan. Getting a huge ovation here from the crowd. I wonder why.
Champion, Bandai Shuma.
Oh, here we go with the hands.
Tamura has opted to wear shoes for this fight. He's been used to wearing padded booties and shoes in his rings career, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, he looks more like a kickboxer than like a MMA fighter. Because I mean, when was the last time we saw shoes in Pride?
It's been a while.
Yeah. So
No,
it
hasn't been that long.
I mean, it threw me off. I'm not gonna lie.
Herring usually wears shoes, but I don't think he wore.
He didn't this time around.
Yeah, I can't remember. Vanderlei loosens up his wrists, then a good stare down as Tamura stands stoically in front of the maniacal-looking Silva. Any thoughts before we go into it?
I mean, here's the thing. To me, this fight, so close to being like, this should have been an early card fight. And I understand that Vanderlei Silva would not want to be an early card fight, but he's getting thrown into someone that we've never seen before. So, I mean, that to me, it reminds me more of early Pride stupid cards, where they would throw Japanese fighters that were popular into these fights that they would never be able to win. And to me, this is exactly that case.
Well, let's do it. Round one, the bell rings. The men come to the center of the ring. Southpaw stance for Tamura. Left kicks from Tamura. On the third one, Silva catches the foot and fires a left punch. Tamura falls back. Silva is in Tamura's guard. He sits up and delivers a right, then steady movement for about a minute. Quadros brings up Boss being in training and how he'd like to fight the winner of this fight for the title. Boss talks about it.
We discussed earlier about you training and you possibly wanting to come back. And I think the winner of this fight, what would you think about a match with them?
Certainly, I would like to fight him. You know, like any other top fighter. But I can just think, like I said before, that Vanderlei is just a really good matchup for me because he's a striker, but obviously now he takes Tamura to the ground. But I just like to brawl too, you know. So.
Did Boss ever go back into fighting, by the way? Okay.
He did fight once.
Because he's talked about it every fucking time for like 6 different Pride events.
He came back for a one-off fight in 2007, I believe. Silva works some punches, then starts to go off on Tamura, which causes Tamura to eventually scramble to get out of there, and he's up to his feet. The men clinch against the ropes, then Silva bullies him down momentarily. Tamura is quick to get back up, but Silva catches him. But Silva chases him. Silva swings away. Tamura shoots for the legs, but Silva sprawls. Silva stands against Tamura, who's on his knees. He eats a knee, pulls guard. Then Silva is back on top, on the mat. Tamura with a bloody nose. Small hammer fist from Silva as he shows off his ground and pound. He's taking a hard shellacking, says Quadros.
That ground and pound was, to me, was fucking brutal. Like, let's be honest. He was already bleeding, and like that one is like, Jesus Christ. How is he still in the fight?
Vanderlei is back up to his feet, goes for a stomp but misses. Tamura scrambles, eats a knee, throws Silva off him, and then both men are up. 5 minutes down in round one. Tamura kicks Silva with a 1-2. Then Tamura brushes Silva aside, who falls to the ropes. Kick, then punch from Tamura. Silva goes for the legs and powers Tamura down into the corner, but Tamura is back up. They are clinched. Knee from Tamura, then they fall to the mat. Silva goes back into his guard. Silva works light punches. Tamura, his left cheek swelling, just holds on. 3 minutes left in round one. Lots of bad blood coming out of Tamura's nose now. Nothing really big happens. Silva works punches, taking us down to 1 minute. More of the same as before. Silva is steady with his work. Then, like a switch was flipped, he catches Tamura with a shot and he pours it on, but Tamura looks okay. The round ends here, though. With Silva.
I mean, you say he looks okay, but he doesn't look okay. I mean, he's still standing. I'll give you that. He doesn't look okay.
Tamura looks beat up. Silva looks perfect. When I said he looks okay, he looked okay that he wasn't about to be knocked out or like his eyes were rolling back.
I give
in
you
his
that,
head.
but at the same time,
he looks beat up, but his eyes look clear.
So I'll say this: he reminds me more of an Inoue fight, where even as a loser, he is not going to end the fight early. Like, you know, Inoue always never submits. You know, he either is going to get knocked out or going to get knocked the fuck out.
Yeah.
So to me that is, but that doesn't mean he looks okay. He's getting the fuck beat out of him.
Yeah. Silva looks perfect. And hey, look who is in Tamura's corner. Kazunori Murakami. Remember this dipshit from Pride 1? Anything you want to add here before we go on?
I hate people.
On to round 2. Nothing happens for the first 30 seconds. Then there's a leg kick from Tamura, answered by Silva. Then a nice body kick by Tamura, and then a nice left and right, answered by Silva with a right, left, and a right. Another body kick by Tamura, and Silva charges forward with a punch. And look at that, Silva is bleeding. But he chases a retreating Tamura. I hope that is right. Against the rope, Silva clinches, then spins off and takes Tamura down. In the rope, so the ref restarts them. Silva's in guard. He works some ground and pound, but nothing to write home about. Then Silva gets pushed to his feet. Tamura is up like a shot. Silva kicks him. Now both standing. Tamura throws a left cross, and Silva counters with a right that sends Tamura to the mat. Silva hoists up his arm, winds up for a soccer kick, and woo! The ref is there just in time to shove him, saving Tamura from that deadly kick. Wow, a shocking end to our fight. Silva, winner via KO at 2 minutes, 28 seconds of the second round.
Like this. This is what we want to see. There you go. Yeah, Vanderlei doing his nasty work with the kicks and punches. Oh, there it is. That's it. That's it. It was a knockout with one punch. With one punch, folks. Vanderlei Silva landed the cleanest shot of the fight. And it was a one-punch knockout with a straight right on the jaw, boss. Beautiful.
Quadros had called this one a one-punch KO, and while this is technically true...
No, it's not technically true. I'm not gonna lie. Fuck it. I have this, and fuck it, I'm gonna go into a rant. This is not a one-hit KO. This is Tamura getting beat the entire fucking fight. It's not like Silva was defending the entire fight, came back with a punch, and all of a sudden Tamura went down. No, Tamura has not landed a good hit this entire fight. He has gotten beaten. He's gotten ground and pound. The fact that he hasn't gone down by now, impressive, honestly, but bullshit. This was not a one-hit punch. This wasn't a one-hit fucking KO in any way, shape, or form. Fucking boss can go suck a major dick.
Tamura had accumulated a lot of damage, so he was ready to go down with just the right punch. So yeah, I wouldn't really call this a one-punch KO either. Silva helps Tamura to his feet. The men embrace. The crowd sounds out of it though, and this was another downer for them, especially after the Enson and Inoue fight. The replay shows that Tamura wasn't really actually knocked out, and he was still fully aware. So I would actually file this away as a TKO/ref stoppage and not a KO. After the fight, Quadros keeps alluding to Boss fighting Silva.
So who would be next for Vanderlei Silva, Boss?
I don't know, Steven.
They really keep pushing this. Too bad it would never happen. Then Silva gets his belt back, gets a poem written personally from Naoto Morishita, I assume, and then we're off to the main event. Good vibe. Final thoughts on this fight?
Okay, so here's the deal. Today, listeners, I found out that there was a fight not on the DVD I watched. Why the fuck wasn't it this fight? I mean,
This is the championship fight.
Yeah, but I give you that. Why? Why? This is like a Takeda fighting fucking something stupid. Or Takeda fighting anybody. It's not. It is
Tamura.
Yeah. I stand by my fucking statement. Like that's the thing is, yes, it was a tournament fight that shouldn't have ever happened. Like Tamura should not have gotten the belt on his fucking first Pride. Plain and simple.
Yeah, I could agree there.
So that's the thing is, he got his ass kicked. Raise your hand if you were surprised by this.
I thought this was a good fight. Tamura didn't have much of a chance. In terms of fighters who have a good style to beat Silva, Tamura is on the bottom of the list. He's a good fighter, but he lacks the intensity that is needed for Silva. You need to match Silva with his killer instinct, make it dirty and chaotic. Or you need to be a good ground specialist who can hold Silva down and grind him into a pulp. Anyway, I give this one a 6 out of 10.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and say this right the fuck now. The Most Dangerous Man Alive would probably give episodes 1 of 3 of Star Wars maybe a 7 out of 10 because that's his rating fucking system.
You don't think this was deserving of a 6 out of 10?
No! This wasn't a fight. This was a goddamn slaughter.
What is the good vibes ranking then out of 10?
For this fight, honestly, 4 at best. 4 at best.
If you were going to say something ridiculous like 1 out of 10, I would have said, get the fuck.
No. I'm not going to say ridiculous as that. But, I mean, like I said, here's the thing is, watching this fight, you knew for a fact Tamura had no chance in hell. To me, that's not a good fight. You have someone that hasn't proven himself in straight up MMA going against a Silva. You know that's not going to be a close fight. To me, that, like I said, does not, because what did you say? 7 out of 10?
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 is
not a whole lot different
average.
than 4 out of 10.
Above average, which means
4 out of 10 is below average.
Yes, plain and simple. It was below average. I mean, the reason I give it a 4 is because Tamura, as much as he was never going to win, he made it far enough. He got beat up, but he was still able to keep in the fight. But to me, this should not have been this far in the card. Plain and simple.
Let's just come to an agreement to disagree and just call it 5 out of 10.
All right.
So, what would become of our 2 bad beef hombres here? Vanderlei Silva will be back at Pride 20 to face off against Mirko Cro Cop in a special rules heavyweight bout. As for Tamura, we'll next see him at Pride 21 in June of 2002, where he takes on Bob Sapp, who will actually debut at Pride 20 himself. We'll see you boys then!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the press conference of Pride 19.
Okay. I'm tired of all this crap. I want 24th to come. I want the bell to ring so that I can go in there and do what I do best. And I'm a fighter. I do it. That's what I am. I'm a professional. This over here is not professional. He likes to bring people's families into it. And you know what? You're going to pay for that, right? You should not all. You understand what I'm saying? Come on the 24th. You better bring it all, because I'm gonna die.
Do you respect Ken as a fighter?
As a fighter, yeah. Fighter, he's fantastic. He's tough. He's one of the toughest fighters out there. He's still one of the top fighters out there in the world. But as a person, that guy's a...
Do you respect Don Frye as a fighter?
No.
Why?
I just think as a fighter, a good fighter respects other fighters. And what he did to me, I mean, prior to all the things that he has said, you know, I did respect him. But after what he did, he had no reason to open his mouth and start talking about my personal life. Nobody has that right. And the minute you do that, you lose all respect. He's lost my respect. He has no respect with me. As far as I'm concerned, he's a piece of shit. And when I get in the ring, I'm going to treat him as such. Like I said, you don't kick a sleeping dog.
Okay, now you're one of the first guys who came in with a little bit of boxing because you used to be a pro boxer. Ken's done a little bit of boxing training himself. Do you think that's going to be a factor?
No, I've seen Ken's boxing abilities or inabilities, however you wish to describe them, and they're not a factor.
Well, I ain't afraid of nobody, and I've taken every fight that anybody's ever put in front of me. I've fought some very credible fighters, a lot more credible than him, and I don't run from anybody. And he's calling me a chicken, and I'm hiding from him? And when he steps in that ring, he's going to find out. He wished to God he got a couple more fights, because when I'm done with him, he probably will never fight again when I'm done. If I get the opportunity to get a hold of something, I'm going to break it. I will break it, because he's disrespected me. And I'm not going to sit there and listen to anybody say I'm going to duck him or I'm a chicken. So if I get a hold of something, you can count on one thing. I'm going to break it.
And now the one that we've been waiting for, Don Frye versus Ken Shamrock. These two guys come from the same era, both UFC champions, both pro wrestling legends, now unsettled business in the Pride Fighting Championship.
I can tell you one thing, Stephen. I was there at the press conference in Beverly Hills at the Hard Rock Cafe, and these two guys actually went at each other there. They needed like 20 people to pull them apart. So one thing is for sure, there is bad blood.
Big time. And these two legends in the sport of mixed martial arts are going to settle that. Don't expect this to go the distance, folks, and don't blink.
青コーナーよりケン・シャムロック選手の入場です。
Okay, Ken Shamrock entering into the Saitama Super Arena, and man, he has got a grudge against Don Frye big time, boss.
Well, I have never seen something intense like all the pre-interviews we saw from Ken and from Don. They really do not like, it's not a good word, they probably hate each other.
They actually hate each other. It's a good thing that they don't have weapons. Like if they had samurai swords like at the beginning of our show, or if they had like an Uzi or something, that would not be pretty. Look at that special effect. Look at that. Oh, that is unbelievable. Ken Shamrock, and it's showtime here. Ken Shamrock has got quite a temper, doesn't he? And now here comes Ken Shamrock's sworn enemy, Don Frye, Don the Predator Frye. He is the antithesis emotionally of Ken Shamrock, meaning that he's been just absolutely cold as a block of ice in this whole big production coming up to this. We had a couple of really, really successful dates for the press tour in Los Angeles, as you mentioned, Boz, also in New York, and people really took to this matchup. But Don really has kept his cool as far as the, rumble and scuffling shenanigans.
Yeah, and also, he started to fight in Beverly Hills. He threw a glass of water in Ken Shamrock's face, and that's where Ken got kicked off, and they both went at it. And they needed a lot of people, I can tell you that, to separate those two guys.
Yeah, because it's two big guys, over 220 pounds, strong as oxen. Frye is one of the original guys who really made strikes effective in the early days of mixed martial arts. Came on the scene in 1996 at the Ultimate Fighting Championship number 8.
On to the main event of our DVD, which sees a returning Don Frye taking on, thank God Almighty, the return of Ken Shamrock. Dandy Don was 35 years old, and his MMA record was 13-1. As for Shamrock, he was 38 years old, and his MMA record was 25-6-2. Don Frye was last seen at Pride 16, where he got his eyes poked by Gilbert Yvel. That was in September of 2001. Since then, he fought once at the Inoki Bumbaye 2001 event, where he beat Cyril Abadi via rear naked choke in the second round. As for Shamrock, he was last seen at Pride 10, Return of the Warriors, where he KO'd Alexander Otska in August of 2000. And likewise, he has only fought once since that appearance, when he fought at WMMAA 1. Mega Fights against Sam Adkins, a fight that was for the WMMAA heavyweight title. Ken won that fight and the title via submission. That was the only event, though, ever held by WMMAA. I wonder if he still has the belt, because I don't know if they closed up shop or what happened, but they were fucking there, then they were gone. It was like a fart in the wind. Pre-fight, we get interviews from both men who talk about the bad blood. Then some training footage backstage, and finally the walkouts, first with Shamrock. Great effect of the big screen being repeated in itself from the live camera. Quadro says it's a real good thing they don't have weapons in this fight, like an Uzi, because they'd kill each other for real.
Wait. I thought you said this fight... What? Wait, 1 second here. I thought you said this fight was Don Frye. I'm seeing Tom Selleck here. I'm literally seeing Tom Selleck here. Where's Don Fry? I thought he was going to be here today. I thought he was going to be the main event. Tom Selleck, I mean, I give you, Tom Selleck would probably win any MMA fight, which I'm glad they have here.
Fry comes out after sporting his USA shorts. He gets alternating cheers from the crowd, one side, then the other. And he'd kind of become known for this later on. We see the Lions Den's boys in Shamrock's corner, Mesger and Sans right tit, Trey Teligman. Both Shamrock and Fry are wearing knee pads and shoes. Also, judging by the crowd response, Shamrock is the heel, Fry is the babyface.
183cm、96.8kg、Ken Shamrock!
Okay, Ken Shamrock, the former UFC Superfight champion and former WWF superstar.
赤コーナー、185cm、101kg、
Listen to that crowd. It's obvious who the favorite is here tonight.
Well, I mean, it's Tom Selleck. Can you really say that someone with that glorious of a mustache would ever be a heel? Yes. I argue no. No. Don Fry will always be the face.
Great stare down. Oh, man, it's fucking great. Oh, they touched!
Don Fry got a huge ovation. Don't expect them to shake hands here. Don looks a little bigger than Ken. And now we've seen the pre-fight, and now they're going to fight for real. Forget about Vanderlei stare down. Look at this stare down. They are less than an inch away. Oh, they touched.
Their nose brush. Their noses brush each other. It's like, oh, they touched. Any thoughts before we go into it?
I mean, this is honestly going to be a great fight. Tom Selleck is always a great fighter.
Yes.
And his American shorts clearly make him look the face of this fight. So let's have at it, man.
Yes.
Let's have at it.
The bell rings. The men immediately meet at the center and trade, then clinch. Fry begins to tear into Ken's body. Ken tries to fire back with the knee, but Fry is winning the battle. Now they trade body shots, 1 for 1, and the crowd gets into it.
Eventually somebody's going to land something to the head, but they're going to have to get out of this clinch before they do that. Listen to the crowd cheer. I feel like I'm in Thailand. Every time in Thailand when they land a strike.
No, like they're cheering every punch. This is
for Don, but not Shamrock.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like this is not something we've heard before. Like crowded participation has never been this into it, and I'm always glad for that.
Shamrock's side is turning red. Ouch. Shamrock moves Fry into the corner, knee by Fry, then back to punches to the body. Then Yuji Shimada separates the men. Restart, furious trading, then clinch again and repeating what was happening before. Body work with knees and punches. Ken tries to go high with a knee that misses, but that causes the men to disengage. Swinging punches from both men, then clinch again. Right now, it's a very measured fight, very tense. Good knee by Fry as the men work into the corner with Ken in control. After a moment, Yuji Shimada separates them. Jabbing right from Don, Ken counters. Then as he swings away, Fry clinches with him. 5 minutes down in round 1. In the corner, Don works knees. Right in our laps here, says Quadros as the men are fighting in front of the commentators.
Perfect. Oh my God, man, this is on the edge right here, sitting here. You feel it.
Yeah, they're right in our laps here. I mean, hope they don't fly out of the ring and land on the table.
Don moves Ken out of the corner, knees, then half tie clinch followed by a right hand that separates the men. Ken punches toward Fry's schlong, and Fry just whacks him twice. But Ken keeps punching, leading to a clinch. Ken looking down here, I think he's telegraphing a throw or a trip. Then he uppercuts Fry's midsection and the men break. The men trade with Fry getting the better, then clinch against the ropes. Then off the ropes, and there goes Shamrock, falling for a surprise leg lock, which he's cinching up. But Fry gets on top momentarily, punches Shamrock, and look at that, Shamrock has a crossbody heel hook sunk in, and he's torquing it. Don, though not fully showing it, he is hurting here. Deep breathing as he tries to block out the pain. Don tries to stick Ken with a kick.
That was a good kick to land at that point, because I mean he definitely had that like leg lock, ankle lock hurting Don, and he just landed that hit. And like, you know, they'll show it in between rounds, but the slow-mo really shows like how well it connected.
Shamrock is bleeding, and now he really hooks the heel, and ow, this hurts. Then Shamrock lets go to maybe switch to a toe hold. Then Shamrock goes for a straight side heel hook. Yikes, this hurts. But Ken is blowing all his steam. Don tries to bash Ken, and Ken goes for the toe hold now, as there's 1 minute left in round 1. Don is just sitting calmly, and it looks like Fry has survived here, and the bell rings. Fry gets up, tries to hide his initial limp, but his left leg has been hurt.
And I mean, everybody can tell that he's hurt, because even Boston Quadros are like, yeah, he's limping.
Tense ending to our round, and on the replay, Boss says everybody would have tapped to this heel hook.
Oh my God, it's gotta hurt. Look at this. Oh. Don should have pulled Ken's left arm off. It is crazy. I mean, everybody would have tapped with this lock.
Don Fry, I don't think it's in his constitution to tap out.
Ken, who was a monster in shoot fighting and pancrase, looks like a shadow of his former self. He looks completely gassed. Petey, get on standby because Ken's heart might need you. Apparently they are taping up Fry's ankles. Is that legal while the fight is ongoing? I don't know.
It's in between rounds.
Yeah, I would assume. Yeah.
I'll allow it.
Time for round 2. Don comes out of the corner okay. Ken throws a right. Don counters, clinch. Then Don throws a cross on the exit. Then Shamrock comes in with punches and they clinch. Now Don is in control. Against the ropes, he works the body, then knees. And Shimada comes in to separate them pretty quickly. Fry swings away, clipping Shamrock, who goes for the hips of Fry but is stopped. Against the ropes, they trade head strikes. Don works thigh punches. They work down the ropes and into the corner of the ring. Body punches from both. A bit of a slowdown here. Knee by Fry and then punches by Shamrock. They continue to trade in the clinch. Action! Called by Shimada. Then they separate with punches. 2 minutes left in round 2. Swinging miss by Ken. Then clinch again. Nice over the top right by Fry. Ken tries to respond. This action continues through the last minute and continues until the bell rings, ending round 2. Any thoughts you want to get in here?
I mean, a quick thought here is, I believe, as far as I remember, is this has been the longest we've seen two fighters standing up.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and listeners of this show will know this is the shit I like. Groundwork just doesn't do it for me, man. I like standing up.
Let's finish this one up. Round 3. More of the same as Ken swings, then clinches. The men are super sweaty. Fry pulls back for a punch, and then Ken senses it, jetting back. Fry jabs, Ken counters, to which Fry counters with a punch, then a half clinch and knee, and the men trade wildly as Fry rocks Shamrock, who falls.
Yeah, everybody wants to see. You want to see somebody who's trying to finish the fight. Oh, there he goes. That's right. Everybody.
Fry not landing cleanly. Oh, they're going to go here. Oh, deep down.
Flails back with his arms, and he looks out of it, but he's still awake. Fry gets on top of him. Fry begins pounding away at Shamrock's head. He's in half guard. The crowd is returned. Shamrock gives up his back, then shakes Fry off, and Shamrock is now on top in guard. He's bleeding more, but he seems to have recovered, but he looks gassed out. Fry likewise looks gassed out. Quadros notes that this was Boss Rutten's birthday that day.
Steven, you are phenomenal, Mr. Pride Professor.
Well, I'm phenomenal only because I'm next to you, boss. The Rutan birthday boy.
Oh, thank you very much.
Fry locks up both arms of Shamrock, though this double armbar has a very low chance of success. At the 3-minute mark, Shamrock falls back for a straight side heel hook on the right leg. Fry fights to get out of it. Now an inverted heel hook is coming, and Fry has his own heel hook forming. The men both fight for their own heel hook. 1 minute left now. Fry sits up on his knees. Shamrock really tries hard, and ouch, the pain has to be back. But Ken slips off and goes back for it, and wow, the battle of the heel hooks. Jesus Christ, says Boss.
Don's got to pull the left knee back, and now he's got it. He's got it too. They both got it. Jesus Christ, 30 seconds.
Jesus!
Oh my God.
Nobody's going to tap.
Jesus!
Jesus!
Shimada with a double give up check. Give up. Which one is going to give up? He's pointing at both of them. Boss says Ken's leg looks like The Exorcist, and then the bell rings, ending the fight. Wow, hardcore ending. Really saved this fight from ending on a downer. The men are exhausted, laying on the mat, not moving much. Then to their knees, they give each other a look, and we wonder, will they embrace? Then their corners enter, helping spur the men to put the bad blood behind them. The crowd and commentators love it. It's a feel-good moment of the year. A Christmas miracle. Hallelujah. They embrace.
The Exorcist move right there, it looks like. Whoa! What a wild. Checkmate. It was a checkmate finish there by both guys. Are they gonna shake hands?
They
No.
gotta shake hands.
Come on, guys.
They gotta
shake hands.
They gotta shake hands.
They've been in a
gotta
war.
shake hands.
Okay. Hey, there we go. Yay! All right. They finally embraced. Finally, that's what we wanted to see.
That is sportsmanship right there.
Absolutely.
We have a tough decision ahead of us, so let's head over to the judges to find out. And that winner is...
Quite.
ジャッジ岡林ドンジャッジ西ケンジャッジ小林ドンフライ
Don Fry has squeaked it out. He squeaked it out. He absorbed the heel hook, which looked to almost break his leg in the first round, Bob.
Don Fry, winner via split decision. Wow, the crowd was on the edge of their seat for that one. Don celebrates. More hugs and congratulations from Shamrock. Shamrock then departs, and Fry gets on the mic to say some words. Let's have a listen.
Here we go. Okay, Don Fry, gonna tell it like it is. Please tell English. Speak English.
Ken Shamrock won this fight as much as I did. Great fight, Ken. You're a class act, sir. Thank you very much.
最高の試合がそうすることができてありがとう。
I said some things to Ken I apologize for. It was below the belt. It was a cheap shot. Ken's a true professional. I didn't keep my end of the bargain on that. I apologize. You're a great athlete.
それまで例のことを言ってきましたが、今日の試合でケンが素晴らしい選手だということが分かりました。ごめんなさい。そしてどうもありがとう。
That's a real man that has to apologize, to know when he's wrong.
I'd like to thank my corner, Steve Owens, Danny Fakur, Sam Zitello, Justin McCauley, Randy Martinez, Rich Moreno, John Foley. They taught me stuff I didn't use. I was lazy. Should have fought better. I apologize to you.
それからお礼を言いたい人がたくさんいます。スティーブ・オーウェン、ステン・ジョンソン、ダニー・デイマン、ジョン・フリー、レニー・マルチネス、サム・ソテロ、リッチ・モレノ、ジャスティン・マコレー、どうもありがとう。
What a guy, man.
I'd like to thank the Golden Ranch Fire Department, C-Shift, for taking care of my daughter, Katie, and the emergency crew at University Medical Center. Thank you for taking care of her. You all are saints.
そしていろいろな機関に対してもお礼を申し上げたいと思います。本当にサポートありがとうございました。
I'm getting emotional.
Well, we both love this guy, and we
After that, Quadros and Boss are in the back, and we get one last interview with Don Fry. But before we get into that, good vibe. Thoughts on the legendary Don Fry versus Ken Shamrock?
Magnificent fight. Like I mentioned before, it was a lot of standing, a lot of striking, it was a lot of everything I fucking like. Plain and simple. I mean, I give them that the third round, they were both kind of gassed, and you could tell, but they still kept it going. So to me, bam. I will give this the legendary, good vibe, 9 out of 10.
Wow. This fight, truly one of myth, is mostly myth. It's a good fight, great start and a great end, but the middle portion kind of brings it down from spectacular to just good. Still a must-watch for any MMA fan. I give it an 8 out of 10. So what would become of our two bad blood brawlers here? Don Frye will next return at Pride 21 Demolition to take part in what is probably the most legendary Pride fight of all time, the one with Takayama. As for Shamrock, we won't see him for years, not until Pride 30, fully loaded, in October of 2005, where at the ripe old age of 42, he will take on Kazushi Sakuraba. Wow. Between then and Pride 19, he'll head back to the UFC for a trio of fights. First against Tito Ortiz for the light heavyweight championship at UFC 40 in November of 2002. It would be a 1.5 year layoff for the world's most dangerous man after that, where at UFC 48 in June of 2004, he would take on Chemo. Jesus! Then finally, another year off, he would return at the Ultimate Fighter Finale #1 in April of 2005, where he would take on Rich Franklin. All good fights. But to learn about the adventures of Ken Shamrock between his next Pride appearance, you will have to tune in to Pride Resurrection episode 38 or something like that. It'll be a while. See you then, Kenny. Quadros and Boss ask Frye if the bad blood between him and Shamrock is over, and Frye says he thinks they left it all out in the ring, but maybe they could have a rematch.
Okay, I'm here with a winner of what I would think was like a dogfight, Don. I mean, your thoughts?
It was a dogfight. It felt like I've been bit and chewed up and spit out.
Well, you're really back in the mix now. What is next for you?
I'm going to go to Hawaii. I'm going to soak in the sea and do what my wife tells me to do.
Did you do always?
Always, yeah. Always do what my wife tells me to do. You know?
Yeah, you're right, because she's sitting behind us, you know, you got to be able to watch out.
Good woman.
Don.
Beautiful.
Don.
Beautiful woman. Nice.
Don.
Smart, too. Yes,
Don.
sir.
The bad blood between you and Shamrock, is that over with now?
I think we all left it out there on the mat, you know, all over the mat. But I think it'd be a great rematch, you know. I think Ken beat it out of me, and I beat it out of Ken, but, I think the fans probably want to see it again.
Okay, and the leg. I mean, did he really crank that thing? I mean, we couldn't believe that you didn't tap.
He cranked it. Yeah, he cranked it. He did a great job. You know, he's the best. He's the best at that ankle lock, you know. And I'm here to tell you.
Quadros and Boss then touch briefly on the other fights of the card, and the show comes to a close. Good Vibe, your overall thoughts on Pride 19, Bad Blood?
You know what? It was I really liked it. And now, with the information I have, I said, I really like the DVD. Because had I seen Silva versus Tamura as the last main event, I would have been disappointed.
Pride 10 up until this point was the king of Pride events for me, and it still is. But since that one is about 2 years old, I think it's time to crown a new best ever. Now, this show is arguably not a topper on Pride 10. But I think with the progress Pride has made, the refinement, the high-stakes battles, the feuds brewing, the quality of the production, this will do as the best Pride so far. We'll see how long that will last, though. I give this event an 8 out of 10. Now it's the time of the show where we pick our fight of the night. Good Vibe. What is your fight of the night?
You know what? This is one of those events where I can't. I honestly can't pick my fight of the night, man. Because it's a ridiculously, a.k.a. even level tie between the Newton fight and the Don Frye fight. Those two are really good. For me, they were both always entertaining. Everything was going on. Everything I like to see in a fight was going on. So I can't pick. I will give the Newton fight just a slight above because it did not have, like you mentioned, that there was a slowdown on the Don Frye fight.
Yeah, Newton versus Pele was the best fight for the. If you had picked that one like wholeheartedly, I would have offered Don Frye versus Shamrock as an alternate for that. I mean, both fights deserve a watch from everyone out there, just to say you've seen these fights.
Hands down.
And with that, fight fans, we've come to the close of another episode. Wow, what a show! The best yet. We'll be back for more Pride action in short order when we review Pride 20. Armed and ready. But just what is in store for us with that show? Taking place on April 28th, 2002 at the Yokohama Arena in Yokohama, Japan, Pride 20 sees 7 bouts of armed and ready battle, starting with Yoshihisa Yamamoto returns to take on a debuting Bob Sapp. Quentin Rampage Jackson is back to take on a returning Masake Satake. Yusuke Imamura debuts to take on Antonio Rogerio Nogueira. That is Minotaro's brother.
Oh, Jesus. Huh.
Dan Henderson makes his triumphant return to take on Ricardo Arona. Mario Sperry is also back to take on a returning Murillo Ninja Hua. Alexander Otsuka returns to take on, oh my god, a returning Sine Kakuta. What the fuck?
Why is he returning?
I don't know. And then to top it all off, the main event sees Vanderlei Silva taking on a returning Mirko Cro Cop. It looks like a good show and I'm looking forward to it. But until then, fight fans, we must bid you adieu. So, for the Colombian Good Vibe, woo! I am the most dangerous man alive today, wishing you goodbye, good luck, and we'll sniff you fucking jerks later.
Peace.